and gentlemen, I blame that goal on this guy. It was 2-1 until he decided to start talking big.
My fault.
It's definitely his fault.
I scored for the Admirals on the second goal.
But now it's tied at 2. It's all his fault. Bummer.
Hampton Roads has a long-running high school and college sports tradition. It's time to give them the spotlight they deserve. This is 757 Sports Talk. Here are Matt Hatfield and Coach Ed Young.
Good Saturday morning to all of you out there, and welcome to another installment of 757 Sports Talk right here on Cove of Sports TV. Like, share, and subscribe and interact with us. We've got ghosts and goblins and pumpkins and candy and Ed's favorite holiday, ladies and gents. It's in the books, in the rear view mirror. After he got some time on the ice last week at the Norfolk Scope while the Admirals took an L, he's now been banned until February the 17th, we've been informed. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning to all. The coach greets all. I am excited about hockey back. We saw a really good one. Unfortunately, it was a loss.
Who's your favorite? I haven't asked you this before. Who's your favorite NHL team?
That would be the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Oh, you like the Penguins. Okay.
Followed closely by the Boston Bruins. And every once in a while, I give a shout out to the Blackhawks and the Flyers. Those teams all rank in my top 4 or 5 teams. But I would have to say Penguins.
You like our backgrounds this morning? Just shifting from thing to thing to thing. You like that? Does that get you all excited?
Understanding that Halloween is now over, and now you put stuff up now. We're behind the times, but what's to be? It's par for the course, as they say. It's expected. It's better than fooling the pool, so I'll just keep quiet.
Well, it was a very long evening for me. I didn't get in and get some shut-eye, some wink, if you will, till about 2:54 a.m., thereabouts. But we have a lot of high school football action to go. Well, before we do that, though, did you hand out candy at your door, or did you turn the lights off and like you were not home? Because I know that's something you would do.
Lights off. I wasn't home. I was working on the field football game, which was a nice win for us. So if I was there, I bought 3 bags of candy. Why I did that, knowing that, wait a minute, I'm not going to be home to give out candy. And the candy I bought, it's good candy, but a lot of it I don't really eat. So now I'm just going to have to just go somewhere and give out candy for the heck of it, which won't look good. But yeah, I did. I bought 3 bags of candy, and I'm thinking, wait a minute, I've got the football game, so I won't be here to do it.
You know, you could have just asked a neighbor to like hand out candy on your behalf, just given your bowl of candy or bag of candy to he or she to distribute out to the little ones as they made their trek around the neighborhood. That would have been the prudent thing to do. You like that word I use there, prudent?
Yeah, prudents are good to eat too, but I wouldn't hand them out for candy for
what?
Halloween.
No, it would have been the prudent thing to do.
Oh, I thought you said hand out some prunes. I'm not going to give kids.
No. Prudent, Prudent. Look it up. Google it.
You learned one word during the week, and now you got to use it.
No. I didn't learn that word. I knew that word.
Unfictitiously, you have to use it now. Look that word.
Okay. You can't spell it though. I spelled mine.
But I'm glad the kids I'm hoping the kids had a great Halloween. Everybody got their candies and whatever. It is not one of my favorites. It's in the books. It's done with. And now we're coming up on one of my favorites, the 27th, I think the date is. It's a Thursday. Yes, that one I don't miss.
26 days away from the Turkey Day. You are correct. You are correct. But let's go through the high school football action, beginning with what transpired on Thursday night in the 757 and all over VA, the games that matter, because we have to encompass just beyond the 757 now that we're getting closer and closer to the playoffs in high school football. So let's do that. and let's go through and pick out some of the big games across. We don't have to go by district now. We'll just pick out some of the big games that happened all across VA and get your quick take, because I'm going to look at them alphabetically on VirginiaPreps.com. This is the way to do it. Is just go to the scoreboard message board. I'm gonna learn you some things, as the Blast man used to tell us the late tournament career. I'm gonna learn you some things. You say, you mean teach you some things? I'll learn you some things here. So share the screen for you. Chance to see what we have up on the webpage. And I'll give you a chance to see where I'm going with some of this. I'll just pick out a game that I like on the front page, or I should say the score list. There you go. Look at all those things. We got the Halloween scoreboard, the blogs, the top 10s, the power ratings, all that good jazz. Wednesday night, though, it was a game in Richmond. Huguenot beat James River and Midlothian 54 to donut, nothing. Then we go alphabetically, and we'll just pick out some games of note. Armstrong still undefeated, Ed. They're one of 14 unbeatens in the state. Coming into the week, they were all over Hanover 47 to 16. Hanover had just one loss to Verona, then loses again to Armstrong here. Couple of tough teams in their district. Meanwhile, in the Beach District, Bayside got back on the winning track 45 to 20 against Ocean Lakes in a game where, oddly enough, the Dolphins had a young man have 4 blocked extra points. You say, what? Yeah, a player for Ocean Lakes in defeat blocked 4 extra points. Rashawn Orr. That's an oddity, one of those statistical oddities that you never see, hardly ever.
He blocked all four himself.
He blocked all 4 by himself.
That's got to be a record at any level ever.
I can hear that now. It's like when you're a little kid, I did all by myself. You're a big boy. Yeah, that's what he did, all by himself. But it wasn't enough, and you know what it meant? It meant the other team was scoring if he had to block that many extra points. Bayside did that, 45 points, as they respond from the back-to-back losses they suffered to Green Run, expected, and the one to Kellam, which was more on the unexpected side of things. All right, another game. Here's one that I know is going to catch your eye in terms of the statistics here. The numbers by another individual. Bethel won over Menchville 55 to 6. You say, what's the big deal in that, Matt? I mean, I picked Bethel to win like 52 to 3. What's your point? Well, how about Ferrari Amari? You know what I'm talking about? The running back for Bethel, Amari Pryor. Listen to his numbers, the Hampton University commit. 23 carries for 255 yards and 7 touchdowns, had 330 all-purpose yards in the game. Question for you, sir, is he going to be the Chicho's Pizza 757 football player of the week to make it 2 in a row from the PD after last week? Denby quarterback Kevin Paca got it, or do you want to, Matt, I want to reserve judgment, see who else is in the mix that could get that on.
He's got my first place vote so far.
Okay. So far is what you say. All right. So far is what Coach Young says. Caroline responded from its first loss that they suffered last week to Cortland. They beat King George, as you see there, by a count of 54 to 14. What else happened? Central Lunenburg, my man Will Thomas and his Chargers, they're still unblemished. Now 9-0 after they beat Nottoway 43 to 8. They're closing in on a perfect regular season for the second time in 3 years. You want to read about those Chargers, you can do so every week in my notebooks in the Farmville Herald. There's a shameless plug from me. Centerville, after beating Madison and Westfield, they're able to get it done against the South Lake Seahawks in a shootout game, 49 to 35. And speaking of numbers, how about the quarterback for Centerville who is going to Albany, Will Shields? And you say, why do we care? Man, I'm in the 7-5. I don't care about – well, you better care about Centerville in Northern Virginia because they might be making a state playoff push. In the game against South Lakes, 20 of 28, that's 71% completions for 414 total yards and 5 touchdowns, as Will Shields is making a strong case for Region Player of the Year in 6D, and he could be in the conversation for Class 6 State Player of the Year with those type of numbers for the Wildcats of Centerville High. And the Cox Falcons, they keep rolling, Ed. They're now 7-2 on the year, 48-6 over Princess Anne. They'll host Kempsville in the regular season finale. Falcons run for 284 yards. Their passing game had one of their crispest showings of the years, 10 of 14 for 104 yards. MJ Lemke leading the way there. Grady Swingo had a couple of touchdowns in this game, one on a run, one on a catch. Tyree Jeffries had 2 TD runs as well as they hold the Cavaliers to just 105 yards of offense. And the Cox defense is really grabbing my attention right now because you say, well, they held PA to 6. What's the big deal there? But even prior to that, the Cox defense has been balling out all year long. Consider this. They held Green Run to 20, which is a mighty strong accomplishment Stallions averaging 42.4 points per game. Cox's defense giving up just 10.8 points per game on the year. So defense wins championships. I don't know if it's going to win Cox a championship, but what it's going to do is it's going to keep them in the hunt here. And with the playoffs around the corner, it might allow the Falcons to advance after heartbreaks, getting upset the last 2 years in the first round by the likes of Deep Creek and Kempsville, lower seeds than them.
Yeah, I'm looking at Cox as maybe could they possibly be the most improved team from beginning of season to right now? And I'm not saying, they were bad at the beginning of the year. No, they've had a good year, but they just seem to be really digging in that quintessential, are they peaking at the right time? And I keep looking at them as maybe that team, they're not the only ones, but that team that really stands out in that vein.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think that's definitely the case for them, and it's looking good. I'm going to some more scores here as we scroll down the ticker. Dinwiddie wins over Prince George and Tom Hall's Royals 19-0. Graham, the G-men, they were struggling early on when they had the injuries. They're not struggling now as they're all over Tazewell, 59-donut. Hampton Crabbers, they've been good ever since that loss to Glen Allen that they took on the chin. They've beaten Phoebus, they've beaten Warwick, and they throttle Heritage by 50. We moved down the score sheet there. Hermitage doubling up Douglas Freeman, 48-24. Hickory a winner over Grassfield, 48-14. We'll get into it a little bit later. Hickory trying to battle with Deep Creek for that number 8 seed in Region 5A. James Madison a winner over Oakton, 47-12 there. Kempsville, you'll hear from Coach Daryl Cherry a little bit later on here, a winner over Kellam, 42-10. And the big one, Ed, we'll have him joining us at the top of the hour, the head coach of the Bulldogs. Woof, woof. Anthony Joffrey team rallying to win it 21-14 in a game where Zadarius Wynn really stole the show, had 2 pivotal touchdowns for them, including one on a kickoff return. Kings Fork got done against Indian River. You and I both had them in that game. They were down in this game, back and forth seesaw affair, lived up to its hype going in.
Yeah, that was one to go back and forth in terms of picking. Being at Indian River, I was going to go with Indian River. I just think Kings Fork's a little bit stronger. And it was a low-scoring game, which I thought it would be, and it proved to be that, and the 1 touchdown win. But I think both those teams will be heard of in the playoffs for sure.
Yeah, 21-14. We'll chat more about that game coming up with Coach Joffrey at the top of the hour. I mentioned Zadarius Wynn having a good game. So did DeAndre Artis-Boone and his defense keeping. There was one big strike from the freshman quarterback, Lord Malik Haru, for Indian River through the air, and they got the lead, as we mentioned, in the second half. Until Kings Fork pieced together a couple of scores in the fourth quarter. But ultimately, type of win that I'm sure the defense will take, knowing how dangerous Haru is throwing the ball. We watched it a few weeks back against Nance whenever he had that 82-yarder to Ryan Robinson that trimmed the deficit to 7-6. That would be the tally until the Braves took the lead in the third quarter on Trey Pugh's touchdown run and a 2-point conversion. But Kings Fork got Isaiah Gilliam's 18-yard touchdown run and a big 4th and 1 from the 9-yard line. Coach decided to have Artis-Boone throw a pass to win for the go-ahead score. You don't see a lot of coaches throw it on 4th and 1, let alone go for it, but that ended up paying dividends for Kings Fork. So I'm sure you can get into that with the go for on 4th down. Also in the 7-5-7, Lancetown a winner over First Colonial 69-14. So that ends the Patriots' season at 1-9. Didn't have a great year there. A couple other notes about Loudoun County over Woodgrove, 21-20. Loudoun County now has the inside track for sure in Region 4C to get the number 1 seed. Loudoun County probably going to get the 1 seed there. Who gets the other 1 seeds, time will tell. If GW Danville does secure it, they've got Magna Vista next week in 4D. 4B, Dinwiddie's going to have the number 1 seed, it looks like, although Louisa and Verona and Huguenot all very good in that region. Nansman Suffolk over St. Anne's Belfield, 27-22. Norfolk Academy over Catholic, 48-6. Are we giving Norfolk Academy enough love on the private school side of things? They keep mauling people week after week. Great job again for that group and Coach Steve Monger's team.
Yeah, they're putting some points on the board, and we really, I don't remember. I'll take this credit. I haven't really mentioned their name. Private school playoffs coming up too. Probably a team that be heavily favored when whoever they're playing. Were they the ones that beat Granby?
They were the ones that beat Granby. That's right. I'm glad your memory from like a week or two stayed up to date.
I thought it was them, but I always get Academy and Collegiate mixed up for some reason.
Well, Norfolk Collegiate doesn't have a football team.
So there's no way to get them.
Yeah, it wasn't them. They have a basketball team, but they don't play football over there. So you can't mix them up. Can't do that. Cannot do that. So we have our names now on the screen. Oh, Eureka! Isn't that cool? Go back to some more scores here for a second. And I want to get your take on this one. Oscar Smith 61, Great Bridge 38. You say, what's the big deal, Matt? I expected Oscar Smith to score 61. I'm not sure you expected Joey Woods Wildcats to put up 38 and purr that much. See what I did there? Purr that much against the Tigers. So 2 questions. Number 1, encouraged by Great Bridge's offensive output these last few weeks. I mentioned it on the show last week. He was the right hire for them. Alma mater. They bring him back. Great Bridge's offense now, the last 4 weeks since being shut out by Nansemond River against Grassfield, Western Branch, Deep Creek, Smith, they're averaging 40.3 points per game. That's question 1. Are you encouraged there? And question 2, are you at all discouraged by Oscar Smith's defense in this spot, or do you just say, no, it's an outlier. They're still the best team in Class 6. They're probably going to repeat and win a state championship, Matt. And, oh, by the way, their star-studded quarterback who recently committed to UVA, Lonnie Andrews III, the junior. He had 6 touchdown passes, all the way over for 200 yards in the game. They're fine. I'm not worried one iota. He's got good receivers like Charles McGlown and, of course, the Michigan commit in Travis Johnson. Those 2 combining for 5 of the 6 TD cap passes. So, question 1, Great Bridge encouraged. Oscar Smith, even though it's a win, only by 23 and giving up 80 points, are you discouraged? Give me your take.
100%. All right, no, 99% Great Bridge. Wow.
Okay.
It's Oscar Smith is going to have a great chance to win another title. They've got pieces. I think they kind of let their guard down a little bit, but I'm going to give credit to Great Bridge. 44 points a game in the last 4 games, and then getting 38 against an Oscar Smith team that's known more so than anything, I think, for their defense. That's impressive. And, I'm already thinking next year, could Great Bridge be that team out of nowhere, if we can even say that all of a sudden is going to be winning games and putting 30, 40 points on the board against everybody. 38 against Oscar Smith. People can't say, well, yeah, they scored a lot of points against teams that aren't that good. Well, what about Oscar Smith, 38? The real good teams don't score 38 against Smith. So I'm giving tremendous credit to that's the coaching staff at Great Bridge.
Okay, well, and they got to replace some key guys. The new quarterback, because Will Englart's a senior. Alonzo Duncantill, junior wide receiver, is having a big year for Great Bridge. He'll be back. So, but it does give a little more curiosity what they're doing at the end of the year. Sometimes it's kind of the old adage, this in college basketball, if a team makes the NIT and wins it, or in college football, team gets a bowl game or finishes strong to end the year, does it springboard in the next season? So the wins might not be showing for them, but maybe does this carry over for next season, year 2 for him at the helm, and the returnees they have on the roster. Some more scores from Thursday before we take a timeout and give you some sound and bring in some interviews from all across VA. And we say all across VA because it's not just 757 flavor. Poquoson over Bruton 42-7. Randolph Henry all over Smith Mountain Lake there. Salem a winner over Tallwood 29-0. No shock. Southampton over Windsor. Oh, tough L for our guy Benjamin Du Bois and his Dukes, who have had a really fine year. 56-21 in favor of Southampton. TJ of Richmond beats Mills Godwin 24-17. Verina over Highland Springs 21-3. A lot of story, a lot of buzz about the I don't know if you've been following it closely, Ed, the young man for Verina, the running back Darren Williams, who came from Henrico, had a big game against Maury. He then got ruled, had to sit out until they were investigating how the situation was, his transfer. He has now been ruled he won't be able to come back for them. Their other running back, Sir Paul Cheeks, the LC Bird transfer, who is committed to West Virginia. He's out with an injury, so they've been relying on Michael Farley, along with their quarterback, Caleb Weiss, to produce the ground attack, but the defense for Verina smothering in its win over Highland Springs. And Western Branch holds on to beat Deep Creek 14-7. They scored the first 14. Deep Creek scored, drove in the fourth quarter, but did not get the game-tying or go-ahead score. York doubling up Jamestown 42-21. So I'm mad at Blue Smoke. I'm mad at Rashad Cook. I'm mad at you. I'm even madder that Jamestown and Deep Creek couldn't get the jobs done for me because those were the disagreements with you this week, and you now have broken the tie and have the lead. So I'm very discouraged, very upset, and very bothered, and very angry. And I'm even madder that the Dodgers made it Game 7 today. I got to keep my Canada hat on and hope, with the fingers crossed, the Blue Jays can dethrone the evil West Coast Empire. We know who the evil East Coast Empire is.
Don't be discouraged on the picks. I kind of had a feeling I was going to take the lead again. So don't be hard on yourself. You do a good job. And yeah, I'm with you too. I'm hoping like crazy the Blue Jays today, but something is leaning towards the Dodgers in this business. So, but let's keep fingers crossed that Toronto will come on through. Heck of an ending of that game last night.
What's that?
It was a heck of an ending for that game last night.
Yeah, it was. As literally they got second and third with nobody out, pop up infield, fly out, and then they get doubled up on a fly out with Hernandez throwing out the guy at second. Just bad base running, bad job by Toronto not to get that tying run at home. You have a chance to win a world championship for the first time since 1993. What are you doing, Blue Jays?
Yeah, it's that was not a good way. I thought they would get some runs in, but
rising. Don't do this to me. Don't do this to me. You thought they would what?
We'll see what happens. Do we know who's pitching today?
Did you not listen to me 25 seconds ago? I just said Shohei Ohtani against Max Scherzer.
Oh.
What? Mad
Max better be on his mad routine because Ohtani's a pretty doggone good pitcher. Everybody talks about his hitting, and people do like his pitching. That kid can pitch it too. I just feel I want Toronto, but I think Dodgers win it.
Yeah, you're probably right. Unfortunately, we're going to keep the faith and keep the hope alive that it will be a W for Canada and the Blue Jays will break through. All right, so before we take a time out, of those Thursday scores, what grabbed you the most? What really made you say, wow?
The one that really got me was I thought Highland Springs would be higher scoring.
Okay.
And was it 21? 21 was 21-7?
21-3.
Yeah, I thought Springs would find the end zone. I thought it would be like a one touchdown win for really either team. I would go with Verina, but I wouldn't be surprised if Springs won it. That Great Bridge scoring 38 on Smith, I don't know why it sticks in my head. I think I had it something like 50 to 6, 50 to 8. So,
well, let me ask you this real quick. So flipping that over because you didn't think it was much of a concern based on what you said. Now I don't want to put words in your mouth. Oscar Smith's in the same region with Manchester, who's undefeated. They got a big matchup with Huguenot this week. Thomas Dale. And then the other teams in our region, Western Branch, Elseburg, the 4 and 5, Lansdowne, the 6. Probably not threats, but Manchester and Dale threats because Dale's going to finish most likely with one loss, it looks like here. And Manchester has a chance to go 10-0 with a quarterback in Landon Abernathy, who we interviewed in the summertime. Really, really fine. They got Division I commits across that roster. And if those teams look at that score, they got to feel like they can move the ball and score on the Tigers, right?
Well, they'll dissect that film like crazy. And again, I'm not there to say anything. Dare I say it when I think I know with football to begin with, because I'm one of those guys 4th and inches throwing. But you look at, I'll step back and say, Smith was up big. Mm-hmm. Probably played some backups, not that they're not any good. And Great Bridge kept driving, feeling like we're gonna show what we have as best we can. Let's win this possession. Let's win this series. Let's try to take this quarter. You kind of get the kids narrow their focus in and keep them focused. You put Oscar Smith gets on the field against a Dale or Manchester, I think their mentality will be much more focused. And, I'm not sure how much playing time the backups would get in that game, but those that will get in there will be ready because he has played those kids a lot during the season. So they will be. That's why they're always going deep in the playoffs. I think that's a outstanding trait among championship teams almost at any level. You play those kids that aren't, quote, starters enough that they almost feel like starters. So now come playoff time, when you do need them, an injury or whatever happens, those kids are ready. So, and that, again, that's the mark of a good program as opposed to a good team. So I think when Smith takes the field against one of those powerhouses in the playoffs, their mentality will be much more focused, and they're not giving up. They could, but I don't see them giving up 38 points in the playoffs.
Okay.
And I don't see them scoring 61. Teams are just too good.
Gotcha. We'll run down the scenarios for some of the playoffs moving forward as we get ready for the final week of the regular season. When we come back, you'll hear from Kempsville head football coach Daryl Cherry after his team's win over the Kellam Knights. You're watching 757 Sports Talk with us, and it's on Cova Sports TV. Now, this is from those that help make it possible each week with all of you.
What makes a life a good one? Is it our adventures? Or the friends we find along the way? Is it the challenges we conquer together? Maybe it's the people's lives we touch every single day. So, what makes a life a good one? You'll have to figure that one out for yourself.
What is more? Is it more reps, more strength, more stamina? We say it's all of that, but it's greater than just what's in the mirror. It's about improving your mental and physical health. More is a feeling of achievement, fulfillment, confidence. It's looking better, feeling better, being better, and it's our mission to get you there. Because here, you are more. One Life Fitness.
Portco is your local nonprofit organization dedicated to economic empowerment through employment for people with disabilities. We focus on abilities, not limitations, providing on-the-job vocational support. Find your pathway to employment. Contact us or learn more at portco.org.
Well, it's everybody's favorite time of year again. Time to prepare to make your annual donation to that infernal revenue service. And if you're like me, you need help. Help to keep that donation as small as possible. So get off your W-2 and call John Maynard at John's Tax Service. 455-6763.
I'm here with Kempsville head football coach Daryl Cherry. His team has won its fifth in a row, defeating the Kellam Knights on the road tonight, 42-10. Coach, coming in, I'm sure you knew Knights fresh off an upset at Bayside, the area's leading receiver, Aaron Smith. And while he does get 4 catches for 93 yards and makes some plays, you keep him out of the end zone. And more importantly, second half, you seized control. What was the difference as the game progressed on? They had an early lead, but you guys got it before the half and never let up from the second half.
Biggest thing is we put the ball in our running back's hands and our linemen, and we just told the guys in halftime we're just going to try to dominate up front and just run the football and get us out of this game.
Fifth straight winning season for you here at Kempsville, something they haven't done since the days of John Bowles in the 90s. You know about the great tradition of Kempsville going back to the 80s under the late, great Ralph Gahagan, and you've been known for the trench mob and playing physical. Do you feel like this team is evolving, though you don't have the same members from the trench mob from a couple years back when you played region championship? Do you feel like you're evolving into one of the more physical teams around with what you guys want to instill in the group?
Well, the biggest thing is in the playoffs, you got to be able to run the football. So we've been working real hard, try to get our guys ready, get our guys motivated. And these linemen, they want that name trench mob to continue to exist. So the biggest thing is they're taking initiative and they're doing what it takes for us in practice to continue to do what we do out here on the football field.
It looked like, without giving away the secrets, you made a couple of tweaks in your running game with Robert Hughes Jr., who's had over 1,000 yards rushing on the season. I think he goes for 200 plus tonight.
Yeah.
Looked like you got some more things off tackles. That's something you sensed as the game went on. Your coaches did. Take me through that against their defense, what you kind of saw as it developed throughout the night.
Well, we try to mix it up a little bit, try to run our inside zone game outside. So, just run the inside-outside game with them and get the guys just to over-pursue and allow the running backs to do what they do. Put the ball in the hand.
Defensively, we'd be forgotten about without talking about your linebackers all year long, the likes of Jason Galloway and Elijah McDaniel. They've been quietly among the area's best in tackles for lost sacks. Felt like Galloway early on, number 0 for you, just set a tone with just his aggressiveness. What do those guys bring your defense?
Oh, they bring us the attitude. They define our defense, those guys. They're seniors this year. They taking the bull by the horn, and they're trying to prove a point. They're wanting everybody to know they're the best in the business. Sure. You got to come see these guys. They play.
Couple more let you run here. I remember when Chris Beatty was winning region championships and competing for state championship at Lansdowne, the word he used on defense was be opportunistic. Tonight, you get 6 takeaways, Coach, 3 interceptions, 3 fumble recoveries, and 6 sacks. Are your guys playing opportunistic?
I would say so.
Okay.
They've been playing hard. They've been working hard, doing a little extra running. So we're just trying to get in that playoff mentality and go from there.
When you guys took a couple of early L's, games that were winnable for you. You had leads in against Salem in week 1, Green Run way back in September. Your team could have said, oh, my goodness, what's wrong here? A couple losses, but you've won 5 in a row. Are you running into form? You got a big game coming up next week with Cox and an opportunity to get either a 2 or a 3 seed and secure a first-round home game, maybe multiple home games in the playoffs, which I know is a goal for you. What's changed as this group has gone along, and what's the ceiling for this team in your eyes?
Right now, the goal is just go 1-0. 1-0 each week. Just look at our opponent, respect our opponent, but just trust and believe what we can do and try to do it to the best of our ability.
what those guys in the pros that were at KC, the Chiefs, these Kempsville Chiefs are getting W's and pursuing a championship. Thank you so much, and we'll see you soon.
I appreciate you.
That was Kempsville head football coach Daryl Cherry with us here. It is 757 Sports Talk. Like, share, and subscribe, and interact with us all morning long. Ed, as the Chiefs are rolling 5 straight victories. We mentioned it after that loss to Green Run back on September 26th, 28-17, that they had an opportunity to potentially run the table going into the postseason. Now they have a key game with Cox coming up. But your thoughts on what Coach Cherry had to say, and to pull away from Kellam the way they did with 200-plus on the ground from Robert Hughes Jr. They're consistently averaging about 250 to 300 yards rushing. Now the defense gets 6 sacks and 6 takeaways with 3 fumble recoveries and 3 INTs. So that group is starting to play with a little bit of a chip on its shoulder and seizing the moment too.
Yeah, I like his perspective. The old coaches talk. We know we're just trying to go 1-0 each week. I really thought that this game, Kellam, would be closer. And in my mind, when I was deciding who to pick, a little bit of me was thinking, could this be a good place for an upset for Kellam?
Well, they just had one against Bayside. And you know what? The Aaron Smith kid I mentioned at the start of the interview, let me correct myself. He did have a touchdown. He had a pick 6. So really, the Kempsville defense did not give up a touchdown in the game. That was the only score that Kellam had. Now, Smith ended up – he got dinged up late, but 4 catches for 91 yards. He was the only 1,000-yard receiver in Hampton Roads coming into this game. And does not score on offense, but the Kellam running game, they've been known for running it so much, Ed. They throw the football, believe it or not, in this game a total of 42 times. They dropped back like 53 against Bayside. Yeah, the running game has negative yardage, so that they were one-dimensional. And you're not going to beat Kempsville being one-dimensional. So that's – I'm fascinated to see, can Cox have the balance? They showed a little bit more of improvement with the passing game last week. We know Cox wants to run the football at Tyree Jeffries, and they're going to play a methodical game. Their defense is playing really well. That could be the first to 14 wins in that Kempsville-Cox game. I don't think there'll be a lot of big plays or scoring. I think both those defenses are going to keep it. This game's going to kind of be played, they say, between the 20s. It might be played between the 35s, if you will, with those two.
Yeah, I could see it. Low scoring for sure. Coach Cherry mentioned about you got to be able to run playoffs. You got to be able to run, and again, I agree. But everybody knows when I talk football, I love passing, and I think if I was a football coach, I'd hopefully have the personnel. We're going to throw a lot. I think you need that balance, but running on the high school level probably bigger of importance than all 3 levels because line play is sometimes not as strong as protecting the quarterback as they do to college and pro level. And you got to get rid of it. And it seems like teams can develop a really good running back quicker than maybe a standout quarterback or that wide receiver that's always open. But I do think when you get into playoffs, you have to, at the very least, have a quick strike passing game where you can throw a few times, get those 20 yards, whatever. You may not put it up in the air 42 times, but I think it's you need to have that balance. I think very few teams can just run it down your throat unless you've got 2 or 3 backs and maybe a quarterback that's got legs to take off too. Then they got it.
Yeah, you're right about that. Before we get into Friday night's action, I do want to also play a couple of quick sound bites we've got from our man Robert Anderson, Virginia High School League Hall of Famer, with us at VirginiaPreps.com, because I don't know if you saw it last week or not. Maybe you did, maybe you didn't. If you didn't see it, no problems. But there is a new record holder in Virginia when it comes to career touchdown passes. That record now is held by the young man by the name of Brody Dawyatt of Glenver, as we put it up on the screen now. We thought we had it. There we go. Brody Dawyatt, 123 touchdown passes and counting as he broke a record. There's been some really good ones from the 757. He's actually in hot pursuit of Ronald Curry's career touchdown responsibility record, he of the Hampton Crabbers from the 1990s, but records that Philip Sims and Sean Mitchell have held, and this one most recently set by Tristan Evans, the quarterback from Freedom Woodbridge. He got 119, I think it was, but Dawyatt with 123 and counting, and our man Robert was able to catch up real quick with Dawyatt about that and also his recruitment, because he's presently committed to Charlotte, has an offer from UVA. He chats about that. Really quick sound bites that we got with Brody. So here they are in the coach's office at Glenver High School with Kevin Clifford, our number 1 ranked team in Class 2. Dawyatt about becoming the new VHSL career touchdown pass record holder.
All right. Well, I know you just broke the Virginia High School career touchdown pass record. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
You have an older brother who has a state championship and a sister with one, and you don't have one yet. So how's that been around the house?
I mean, it's been good around the house. I mean, they're still encouraging me to keep working and hopefully join along with that. But we're just taking it one game at a time right now.
You came pretty close last year. I know if that semifinal game had been different, the odds are you would have maybe won the championship. How much has that stuck with you, and what kind of motivation are you using that for this year?
I mean, I feel like it stuck with me a lot, but I mean, it mostly stuck with our whole returning team. Just, I mean, it motivates us every day. We want to get out there and work so that doesn't happen again. So hopefully we can just take it one game at a time and hopefully be in that situation again.
That linger on a little bit, or did you get that out of your system pretty quickly?
I mean, it definitely lingered on a little bit, left a sour taste in my mouth, but I mean, it's just it is what it is. It's in the past. So I mean, I live by everything happens for a reason. So I feel like that was just my motivation for my senior year.
And here's more with Brody Doyle and Robert Anderson discussing his recruitment. Headed to Charlotte, even though UVA and others are sniffing around.
Let's talk about your recruiting a little bit. You've committed to Charlotte, and I know some other schools have maybe jumped in and expressed some interest. Where does it stand, right now?
Well, I mean, I'm still 100% committed to Charlotte. I mean, they've always been there. They've always believed in me since the first day they started reaching out to me. And I mean, I appreciate all these other schools reaching out to me. I mean, it means a lot just for all them believing in me. But I'm still 100% committed to Charlotte.
You're going to graduate soon, graduate early. That's the plan.
Yes,
what's your timetable on getting your college career started?
I mean, I'm going in there, I think, sometime in January, either early to mid-January. I'm going in there, enrolling, taking 15 hours of classes, and starting spring ball, working out with them, just getting to know the field, just getting to know the playbook. So hopefully that leads on to special stuff for my freshman year.
College football's landscape's changed a lot. Recruiting's changed. The transfer portal's changed a lot of things. I mean, is Charlotte a school that recruits a lot of freshmen, or how a mix of both, transfers, freshmen? How does that look?
I think they go in the transfer portal a little bit, but I feel like they mainly just go to some high schoolers. Because I mean, this year we have, I think, right around 16 to 18 freshmen that are coming in, and then I mean, of course, we have a couple transfer portals that are coming in, but I feel like they mainly just look at high schoolers.
Now, at your size, I know you could play defense maybe, or are you going in as a quarterback?
I'm going as an offensive athlete, so just I'm gonna start off in the quarterback room, but they also said they're gonna look at me as like a tight end, so we're just gonna see where the wind takes me.
See where the wind takes them. That was Brody Doyle out of Glenville High School, the Highlanders' all-time record setter in Virginia high school history now in touchdown passes. And he's chasing the touchdown responsibility record because he's gotten some on defense, too, at his defensive end. A couple quick things I want to throw your way. And you've coached college ball on the basketball front than football. Is this like the worst nightmare for the coaches at Charlotte saying, oh, no, he's getting all this statewide attention? How do we secure and keep this kid now? Is that the biggest fear they're going through at this moment?
Absolutely. No question about it. And I thought of that watching that interview that, okay, you got all these schools now, especially from the state, a little bit higher prestige than a Charlotte, and looking at them. I loved his answer. I'm 100% committed. They've been on me for a while. In this day and age of money, and I still think money talks, that's rare to see. It's these kids usually have their big eyes towards the big Division Ones. They think they're going to go there and become the all-time.
Sure.
And, of course, now it's, well, whoever can show me the most money. And I still think that is the big draw for most kids is what can you pay me? Parents stepping in there, too, and saying it. If that kid keeps his commitment to Charlotte, regardless of what happens, and who steps up and gives them an outright offer, that's good. And like I've always told kids, you've got to look hard at the people that have been with you for a while and have said, look, this is where we see you fitting in. Now, the question on the other end is Charlotte committed 100% to him, and they don't see somebody else that they're saying, wait a minute, he's a little bit better than that Brody kid. Maybe we'll get them both, and then we just throw them to the wolves and see who survives, because colleges will do that. And you don't know necessarily as a player who else are they recruiting. They may tell you, you're our number one on the board. We got to have you. Meanwhile, the next day they're telling somebody else the same thing. That's the problem with recruiting. It's a game. It's definitely a game. Good point made also is, are they portal type team, go in there and get kids out of the portal, or are they going to go ahead and try to build with freshmen? Most schools now, you're not building with freshmen. If you got kids in the portal that you can get, and Charlotte's one of those type of teams, their best players every year, I'll say 90% of the time, are going to go into portal. They're going to be taken by somebody else. They're one of those
plucked by somebody else. Yep.
Yes, that's what's going to happen, which give credence to an incoming freshman, high school freshman. Now you might get a lot of good reps because, as you and I both know, over the past years, for centuries, most high school freshmen, when they go into college, are redshirted that first year. Get your academics straight, get bulked up, learn the system, especially if you're a quarterback, offensive player, learn the system. Then you still have your years. But again, depending on what the portal does to you now, that's not a guarantee anymore. And it is interesting that the kid has done tremendous at quarterback, but they're looking at him as possibly, as Brody said, offensive player. I may be in a tight end room. I may be a running back. Who knows? And then, as you stated, the kid can play defensive end, which I never think of a quarterback on offense being a defensive lineman on the other side. Right. It usually is maybe a linebacker, a safety or whatever, but not a defensive lineman. Sure. So,
well, that's how more often people realize sometimes a player gets recruited for a certain position and they'll switch his position. Virginia Tech was famous for that when Frank Beamer was there. You think Greg Boone, one of those guys that comes to mind playing tight end. Bucky Hodges, another guy, same thing from Salem, and Oscar Smith there. Those two guys. And even happens in basketball too. A guy might be recruited to play the 2, he ends up playing a 3 or something like that. Shooting guard, small forward type of deal. But it's going to be. And now he's trying to get the state championship, like his brother, who you got a chance to call his brother's state championship, Owen Doyot for Cave Spring when they beat Petersburg. And his sister's got one in volleyball, so he's trying to get the rings to stay in the family and keep the conversation saying I'm a champion too. Came close last year, and Graham got him in a fourth quarter comeback.
And I'm telling you, the deeper he goes in the playoffs, the more those schools will jump in and say, "Hey, wait a minute, look where we are, Charlotte. Especially in state schools, they'll throw that. Well, we're in state, this is where you want to go. Your family come and see you play, and we're higher Division I, and we play a better schedule. They'll throw all kind of stuff to kind of get you out of that commitment. But like I've said, I'd like to see kids keep their commitment. And my own personal one, Don Charles Bright, was a great point guard for me. He had committed to Mount Olive. And then all of a sudden, University of Jacksonville, Division I, jumped in and said, "Hey, we want you." And I told them, I said, "Well, the kid's already committed to Mount Olive. Hey, coach, we're Division I." I said, "I know what you are, but I also know you haven't been around. So, this team has been on him. We visited. He likes their style of play. Long story short, he committed to Mount Olive. He did not change it. Had a great career there, and now he's still playing pro ball in Brazil, and he never second-guessed it at all. And I said, you could have went Division I. They would have paid for it. Why not? He said, "Coach, why weren't they on me before? I ain't changed, And they gave me this crap because they didn't get their number one guy. So now they run into me, where I was always Mount Olive's number one guy, and that's how they treated me. And I'm like blown away because kids don't talk that way or think that way. But I was tremendously ecstatic that he kept his commitment. Even though it was a Division II against a Division I, he still did it for the right reasons, still got his education and all that. And he's playing pro ball, and he's happy as can be in Brazil.
Quick timeout, and we'll come back and hear from a couple of Heritage pioneers from a game of the night and a game of the year candidate in Lynchburg. And we'll go through the Friday night action before Anthony Geoffrion of Kings Fort joins us right here on 757 Sports Talk. You're watching Cova Sports TV. Back in just a moment. Stay tuned.
For any athlete, making it to the top sometimes comes with a few steps back. That's why parents count on CHKD Sports Medicine, advanced diagnostics, treatment, and rehabilitation for sports injuries just for young athletes like yours. With convenient locations across Hampton Roads and a whole team of experts here to keep your favorite player at the top of their game. CHKD Sports Medicine. Learn more at chkd.org or call the CHKD Sports Injury Hotline.
Cova Painting. We don't just paint, we transform spaces. Visit covapainting.com or call 757-550-7357 and mention the Sportsplex for 10% off of projects over $1,000.
What's What's up at DQ? Oh, just the best deal ever. The $7 bacon cheeseburger meal deal. Bacon cheeseburger for a limited time, plus fries, drink, and a sundae. Yeah, this is not the time to be modest. It's all full size for just $7. And there's bacon on that burger. The $7 bacon cheeseburger meal deal. Now for a limited time on the $7 meal deal lineup. Only at DQ. Happy tastes good.
All right, I'm here with the terrific tandem of the Heritage-Lynchburg Pioneers. We got the quarterback, Ayden Slasher, tonight runs for 121 yards and 2 touchdowns on 23 attempts, and Zaid Holloway, 94 yards, 13 attempts, 2 scores, 35-33 over Liberty Christian, the reigning 2-time Class 3 state champs. All right, Ayden, this had to feel sweet. It was a knock 'em, sock 'em, rock 'em, sock 'em, whatever you want to call it, fight. And I know the way your coach, Coach Brad Bradley, teaches you guys it's going to be 48 minutes, if not more. Did you think this one might get on the last play of overtime tonight?
Yes, sir, for sure. I feel like any game is going to be a tough battle. Always come down to the last 4 minutes of the game, and that's what we always work for, the last 4 minutes of the game.
Zaid, in the past, if you got down to Liberty Christian, you might not have won this type of game. What was able to allow you all to battle back in this type of game? What allowed you to keep fighting, and they took the lead and had momentum?
Our physicality and our brotherhood. We all together. It doesn't matter if we go down. We're still going to pick ourselves back up. I mean, our team is just like that, I feel like, honestly.
They've beaten you the last 3 times. Was there extra motivation knowing there's the Seminole District at stake? You could see these guys again in the regional playoffs, but there's a lot more to this game than an ordinary game on a Friday night?
Yes, I mean, every game is a lot more. It doesn't matter who we play. I mean, the bad teams, the good teams, we got to prep good. Nice. I mean, we got to be perfect. We want to be perfect. Everything's not perfect, but we want to be perfect.
You responded from the interception. You guys were driving, but did you feel like in the second half you were starting to find your rhythm? What changed for you guys from early on? They had a couple 3-and-outs, but you guys got in a rhythm offensively and felt like you couldn't be stopped unless you stopped yourself in the second half.
Yes, sir. I just want to say this thank you up front. I feel like them is the ones who really got us going or helping us move the ball, because we can't move the ball without them or get going at all without them. I feel like that's where it started at, and they got me up. They came to me after the interception. Stay up. We got you. We'll go get it back, and that's what we did.
Was the most nerve-wracking play for both you guys the 4th and 1 from the 6? Because it felt like you got a first down of the pass interference. Take me through kind of that. Once you got that, was it kind of a sigh of relief? All right, we can make this a 2-score game. Take me through that play again, both you guys.
Okay, before the play, teammate Jaden Miller came to the huddle and made a call himself, and I agree with it because I seen everybody flow to the other side. We ran it. I seen it. I'm gonna give Jackson a chance. I seen him hold, and a flag go out, so I got happy. Then I seen it was 4th down. I'm like, oh man, 4th and 1. We gotta punish it down, get this 1 yard. That's what we did. Talk to the O-line in the huddle, and they understood what I said, and we got it.
You converted, or was it he that converted? I think he converted it on that 4th. Okay, you got it. Okay, but you're playing defense. There you go. He got you. You're playing defense, so you're sitting there going, oh no, we're not going to get hosed on a play. Look, they fumbled it. Take me through this and to play both ways tonight in a game like this, as physical as it was.
Right. Playing both ways. I mean, the defense, honestly, our physicality, we want to get to the ball. We want to fly around. Remember our reads, do our keys. Do our keys. I mean, get to it. We just like to fly around, honestly.
All right, last one for you guys. Tough questions. Here's the fun one. It's Halloween. What's your candy you're picking tonight? What's your go? What are you munching at? What's the candy?
Nerd clusters.
Nerd clusters. How about you?
I might gotta go.
You probably Skittles.
Skittles is what he said?
I knew it.
He said Skittles. Nerd cluster Skittles. Trick or treats. The Pirates going to win a thriller tonight, 35-33. Congrats, guys.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
So that was Heritage-Lynchburg's duo of Ayden Slash, the quarterback, and Zaid Holloway, the running back. They combined, Ed, against a really good Liberty Christian team, and which was a back-and-forth affair. You'll hear from Coach Brad Bradley a little bit later on in the show. They combined for a total of 36 rushes for 215 yards, and those two guys had 4 of the 5 touchdowns in that 35-33 game. That was really, the extra points. Liberty Christian missed one, 2-point conversion. Heritage got those 1 or 2 plays really made the difference, because LCA's quarterback, Luke Gaither, who's a junior, transferred in from Radford High School, threw for 235 yards on 12 completions and 4 touchdowns against a defense that really hadn't given up 14 points or more than 14 points to any Virginia opponent. They lost that first game of the year in Ironton, in Ohio to Ironton. But so there was really it developed into a shootout or a track meet, even though it was not that way early on. Heck of a ball game. It's right up there for me making that trip to Lynchburg. Right up there with the Maury McNamara game that was triple overtime back in September. Those two are the flip a coin, which was the best game of the year. That one might get the nod because it's fresher in my mind, but they were both fantastic games.
Yeah, I kind of thought when you were talking about maybe going out and see that, you had mentioned that, you got a feeling this could be one of the state games of the year, which obviously it came into that. Of course, I remember telling you your experience on the travel to Lynchburg might be the experience of the year for you personally.
Yeah.
Another story.
Well, I do want to put out there for those that haven't seen the news, there was an unfortunate situation last night on our way there. People were hospitalized. I don't know what the status of the people that were involved in the wreck, but a semi knocked a truck off the road and it hit a kid who had just gotten off a bus. There were some life-threatening injuries. It was just a terrible scene. We got behind it, but we're fortunate that we were not involved with it. But I want to send my prayers and thoughts to those that were, because it was a pretty horrific scene, about 8-9 cars in front of us on the way there. So,
that was on 460.
Yes, we were literally 30 minutes away from the stadium. It was smooth sailing for the first 3 hours, and then the last 30 minutes of what was supposed to be the trip became about a 2-hour situation. So, just when you see just different firemen and paramedics, people, and then I think they had to airlift. It's just one of those. Hug your loved ones even tighter this time of year, especially around the holiday season, because you got to be careful wherever you are. So there you have it. But we'll hear from Brad Bradley a little bit later on in the show. Let's go back to some more scores and fire up a little bit.
Before we move on scores real quick, both those young men, any idea on the recruiting of them?
Not getting a lot of things, but I think there's going to be some opportunities for both of them. They're not a hallmark recruits. I could have asked them that. I was trying to get back home before 3 a.m. So if I wanted to go longer with the interview, we could have done that. We still had to talk to Coach Bradley, who was very fired up. He is much like I'll say this in a very positive way. He's like the Rich Morgan, if you remember Rich Morgan and Oscar Smith of Lynchburg. He's really fired up, passionate, emotional, and his kids run through a brick wall for him and love him. So let's go back to some more of the scores, though, before we bring in Anthony Joffrey on of the Kings Fork Bulldogs, as last night Atlantic Shores got a W, Ed. They were able to beat Olive White Academy 39-0, and they can thank Coach Wayne Lance's son, Micah Lance, for having another spectacular outing, throwing the football, slinging it around. As Micah, listen to these numbers, you say Chicho's player of the week. 35 of 43 for 306 and 5 touchdown passes. He found Trez Williams, Jaden Gurley, Josh Sibley, Josh Long, and they had a nice outing against Isle of Wight in that matchup. Others that happened around the state of consequence or note, you see Amherst put up a 74 spot on the board there. Battlefield wins by 30. You scroll down there, Broadway, they have the number 1 seed at the moment in Region 3C. That could change with Heritage playing Jefferson Forest next week, and Liberty Christian's loss. Buckingham all over Amelia. You had Chilhowie win by 33. Christ Church a winner over Norfolk Christian 13-6. Churchland over Booker T 46-6. Cortland keeps its win streak going. They've won 8 in a row, I think it is, since their loss, or 7 in a row to Louisa early on in the campaign. Denby over Kickingham 35-7. Another big game for Kevin Parker, as Denby's getting some momentum for next season. Now, they're going to make the playoffs, but a couple of interceptions for Parker, and this one did it on defense, and he had a pick 6 and a touchdown pass to Jaron Evans, as Denby's starting to play like the team you thought they'd be starting the year. They had that unexpected loss to Manor, but now they're starting to pick it up. And, of course, the opponents haven't been the greatest in the PD here of late. Woodside, Kickingham, some struggling teams, but encouraging signs for the Patriots making progress.
I agree with you. We both thought Denby would have a really good season. Buttered out of the gate. Now they're kind of finding themselves. And, I don't really say, well, they're playing against teams that are weaker. The key is they're finding themselves to put points on the board. They're playing crazy defense. So that's impressive. And you say they probably don't have a shot at the playoffs?
No, they will. They're going to make it in 4A. They're not going to get a home game, but they're going to open up on the road in 4A. I think they're going to be the 7 seed. We'll double-check that before we sign off and look at some of the power ratings if they're up to date at the moment here. GW Danville keeps winning. Franklin County knocks off William Byrd, who beat Lord Botetourt last week in a thriller. Essex thumps Colonial Beach. Gretna. How about Gretna down 22-0 to Appomattox? They got shut out by Jefferson Forest the first game of the year. They scored 30 unanswered, down 22-0. Big props to Rayshawn Logan and the Hawks. You saw the Heritage Liberty Christian score. Hopewell squeaks by Matoka. Independence edges Gainesville by 1. Jefferson Forest beats Brookville pretty handily. Lake Braddock shuts out Fairfax. Louisa, Western Albemarle. That might have been game of the night number 2. 58-41. The Lions still roaring. Undefeated, just like Dinwiddie in Region 4B, where you also have Verina, you have Huguenot. That's going to be the top 4 toughest or fiercest of a region there could be, potentially in the state. I'm sure Coach Joe Freon might disagree when he comes on about 5B, where he's in a region with Maury, 2-time defendant state champ, and Warwick, and Nansemond River, and himself, and Bethel. And, oh, by the way, Maury, 57-8 over Manor. The freshman we spoke about with Doreen McCain last week, Tawan Pear, 2 interceptions. He returns to the house. Commodores were off and rolling once Elijah Moss Williams, the JMU commit, returned the opening kickoff to pay dirt. Nansemond River, 41-0 over Lakeland. And that brings our man Derek Fulcom to say, you know what? Nansemond River, Kings Fork, it's the game to end the regular season. Oh, I wish I could be there. I have Lady Monarchs basketball to call, so I will not be there, but I will be following it very closely and probably watching the replay on NFHS Network. New Kent over Grafton, 45-35. What you make of that score, Ed? A lot of points on the board in that BRD matchup.
Well, again, Bay Rivers is famous for at least a week where both teams putting points on the board like nobody's business. That was the game. I didn't think it would be that one high scoring, though, with those two teams. Usually don't see that, especially with New Kent defense, but 45-35, they proved me right.
Patriot beats Garfield by 7. Phoebus over Woodside, 47-6. Jaden Javier has a big game. I think he had a couple of picks, a couple of scores in that one for the Phantoms. He was certainly making his presence felt and known in that matchup. Looking at some other games that took place in the state of Virginia of note. Riverbend over Massaponax, 43-14. Riverhead shuts out Stanton. Salem all over Hidden Valley, 56-7. Watch out if you're GW Danville. You don't want to see Salem in the 1-8 game. You say, why? Salem is struggling, but they have bitten GW Danville pretty hard in the past in the playoffs. And Smithfield a winner over Gloucester, 49-0. You were there for that one. Packers looking pretty good right now, huh?
Put it into end zone early, fumble recovery early in the game, picked it up, rolled it in. And after that, they just pretty much had their way the whole way. And I have to say it, I was hoping for a running clock. It was cold. It was cold out there. And I'm dancing around on the track, trying to keep warm and thinking, come on, get this to the 35 points. No disrespect, Gloucester, but I got to get in that car, get some heat. So, and Tracy Parker and the gang did it. So, put 49 up on the board. We're going to be a little bit tougher next week. Got to go to Pocosin.
Well, and I was just about to say, that's another game of the week candidate here. Pocosin had the one blemish against Warhill. So if you play the transitive property game, Smithfield, who lost in 4 overtimes to Pocosin last year at home, they got to feel like they can win this game. Now, whether they will remains to be seen. But remember, they beat Warhill, who beat Pocosin. So if Team A beat Team B and Team B beat Team C, can Team A beat Team C here? We shall see if the Pocosin Islanders can knock off the Smithfield Packers. And 2 more before we take your time out. Or a few more before we take a time out and bring in Coach Anthony Joffrey onto the Kings Fork Bulldogs. Sussex Central over Brunswick by 20. Union stays unbeaten over Abingdon, 46-7. Warhill in the BRD, they keep surging, 36-14. Braden Turns has a big game on the ground for the Lions. And this score got me at William Fleming, 46-0 over Lord Botetourt. As Fleming making something happen, had a sophomore over at Ayden Fleming last night who had a major game for them. And that young man by the name of Kamari Zai Steelman had over 300 yards, and I think he had 255 at the half with 4 touchdowns. So Fleming in the same region with Highland Springs and with Hermitage and Patrick Henry Roanoke going to be a force to be reckoned with potentially in that region. So that rounds out the scores. Quickly, any thoughts of what happened on Friday night? Not a whole lot in the 757. A lot more took place on Thursday. And the playoffs are starting to crystallize the picture.
Well, like we said before, the cream rising to the top at this time of the year. It was a surprise that a lot of schools did move their game from Friday night to Thursday. I guess Halloween took precedent over the game. So I'd say hats off to the teams that said, don't worry about candy takers. We are having our game on a Friday night. Good job.
Why are you so anti-Halloween? It's now behind us. Anyway, we've got Anthony Joffrey on. We'll find out what he dressed up as for Halloween. Matter of fact, I wish I had the video he put up on social media. You got to see, because I think he went as something yesterday at the school. But anyhow, it is 757 Sports Talk. We'll be back in just a moment after we hear from Chicho's Pizza and others right here on Cova Sports TV.
For any athlete, making it to the top sometimes comes with a few steps back. That's why parents count on CHKD Sports Medicine, advanced diagnostics, treatment, and rehabilitation for sports injuries, just for young athletes like yours. With convenient locations across Hampton Roads and a whole team of experts here to keep your favorite player at the top of their game. CHKD Sports Medicine. Learn more at chkd.org or call the CHKD Sports Injury Hotline.
Kova Painting. We don't just paint, we transform spaces. Visit kovapainting.com or call 757-550-7357 and mention the Sportsplex for 10% off of projects over $1,000.
What's up at DQ? Oh, just the best deal ever! The $7 Bacon Cheeseburger Meal Deal. Bacon cheeseburger for a limited time, plus fries, drink, and a sundae. Yeah, this is not the time to be modest. It's all full size for just $7. And there's bacon on that burger. The $7 Bacon Cheeseburger Meal Deal. Now, for a limited time on the $7 Meal Deal lineup. Only at DQ. Happy tastes good.
What does happiness mean to you?
Being in the ocean with you, watching you catch super fun waves.
In Virginia Beach, happiness is breaking barriers and savoring the sunshine.
I couldn't pick a better place or a better person to be with. This is what makes me happy.
Happiness is going all out.
And taking it all in.
Here, happiness is whatever you make it. Find yours in Virginia Beach.
Hey Alexa, who's better, Matthew Hatfield or Coach Ed Young?
From On3.com. It was a 6-game win for Hatfield over Young, both of whom got better than 84% of their projections right during the 2024 regular season.
Thank you for giving us the answer to that.
This is 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Here are Matt Hatfield and Coach Ed Young.
And we welcome you back to 757 Sports Talk. Like, share, and subscribe to Kova Sports TV. We have a special guest with us. He is the head football coach of the Kings Fork Bulldogs, who won a heck of a ball game on Thursday night. I'm jealous of my colleague, Will Garlick, who got to see a much better game than I did in person over there at Chesapeake. Anthony Joffrin's team wins it over the Braves 21-14 to move to 8-1 on the season. Coach, congrats on the W, but I know it's not a lot of time to celebrate because you got a big rivalry game coming up. Before we dig into all that, though, we were talking about Halloween. Did I see on I don't know if it was Instagram or X or Twitter, did you dress up as a football player? Did you bring back the old cleats, everything on Halloween?
Yeah, I haven't put a football helmet on since maybe 2016, 2015. But Zadarius won, he had a huge game the night before. And I've been joking all year that I was going to dress up as one of the football players. But I kept saying Kevin Knight. So everybody thought it was going to be number 7, Kevin Knight. But then I showed up as Zadarius Wynn, and the whole school thought it was hilarious.
Well, good deal. The Knight's the fabulous freshman they've got, Ed, son of, by the way, the former Lakeland coach. And Zadarius is having an awesome year. Certainly could be another one of our Chicho's Pizza Player of the Week candidates for this week. The only thing that drives me nuts about Zadarius, coach, is I can't spell his first name. I don't know how many times I look at it. He's got like 2 apostrophes. It's one of the hardest names to spell. But, boy, he's one of the fastest players in VA and in the 757.
Yeah, he's a great kid, man. Been in the program since 8th grade. Just to see where he is now, man, going to North Carolina Central, which is a great program. Just excited for him in his future as well.
As you should be. You're gonna give his first name to Ed in our next spelling bee because it's a guaranteed X for Ed. He won't get that spelled right. Won't happen.
Now I'm gonna have to practice, and I know that thing. I want to know, since Anthony dressed up, was he a big trick-or-treater in his day, if not even still today? And obviously the obligatory question, what is his go-to candy? See, those are the hard-hitting questions. So first, Anthony, were you a big trick-or-treater? Do you still do it? And what's your go-to candy?
Yeah, so I'll tell you a funny story. So, I'm big on the Reese's. So, I know you made a comment about playing on Thursday. But it was actually really nice to have Friday off. I don't remember the last time I've had a Friday off. So I was actually able to, me and my family went trick-or-treating in our neighborhood. And the funniest thing was last night as I'm walking through the neighborhood, I saw at least, 100 of my kids that go to Kempsville High School. And I'm just screaming up and down the street. We got high schoolers trick-or-treating. And, I didn't know that was still a thing, I was letting my neighbors know, letting everyone know, don't give them candy. They're in high school. They're not little kids. But, they were giving them candy. But even saw a couple of my players. I'm not going to say their names. But we go to practice on Monday. We got high schoolers trick-or-treating. It's crazy.
Just run them, make them run laps, get the candy out of them. And I always thought the cutoff was once you became a teenager, once you hit 13. So that was at least what I was told as a kid. But
yeah, I saw a 16-year-old last night.
Yeah. For sure. Oh, listen, they would come to my door when I was home. I was in Lynchburg last night, but they would come to my door at 17, 18. And then where's the really bad part? The kids that come back the second time and third time, like we didn't see them before. They changed the disguise. Like, come on now. You're just trying to get more extra candy here. But please enlighten Ed, because he's been complaining to me since he became the new basketball coach at Smithfield about the Bay Rivers district schedule, and we don't have these games on Friday nights. What am I going to do? He should enjoy having Friday nights off every now and then, right? It's not the worst thing in the world.
Yes, it's not the worst, Ed. I got the kids were actually surprised. More importantly, the parents. They were like, they don't have practice on Friday. I was like, no, we don't have practice. And they couldn't believe it. I had, maybe 15 calls to the school on Halloween. Like, hey, coach, you sure we don't have practice? I'm like, yeah, we do not have practice. But, as I've gotten older, I think it, when you get a chance, you got to give the kids a break. You got to give them a break.
You do. This is true. Ed?
No, like I said, everybody knows I'm not a big Halloweener and a trick-or-treater and that. And I couldn't give out candy last night either because I was at the Smithfield game working that game. So, but, I can see football, you say getting a Friday off here or there.
You were at the game, and that was your excuse not to hand out candy. You had to be at the game.
I had to be at the game. I was
asked. If there was another concert or show you had to be at, you would have been at that as opposed to the game. So
what's the rule? Like, if the lights are on, you don't knock on the door. What is it? If the lights are off, don't knock.
Right. I think that's what it is.
So you're that guy who cuts your lights out and don't knock on my door.
Hold on now. If I'm here, I'm going to put the lights. I bought 2 big bags of candy, and a lot of the candy in the bag I don't really like, so I can't then buy it for myself. So I got to figure some way now to get rid of all that candy because that ain't for me. But I just wanted to be able. I wish we could have the picture. I wanted to see you as the football player, but I have to go hunt for it online.
We'll get it to you later. We'll have to play it on the show next week or something. But that leads me into we'll dive into the game coming up here. But the Indian River game, you probably expected, given you've had some fierce battles with them. I know you played like a double overtime game with them a couple years ago, as you did with Nansemond River. You've had some tight battles with Oscar Smith over the years. Your first game of the year we saw against Wise, which I think people have forgotten just how tough a game that was and how good a team they are that you were able to beat in a head-spinning back-and-forth tussle. But your kids have been prepared for these moments where it comes down to crunch time, correct?
Yeah, just within the district, over the years, the only team that has really gotten us is Oscar Smith. And I just think this year, as coaches and as players, we just, had our worst game. We got to do a better job, going forward and things like that. But I would say that loss, really, helped motivate our kids, and coaches, just doing a better job. And, Indian River, they're just, very well coached. The field, it was just really, a tough environment, to play in. It was very muddy. It was one of those type games, players really couldn't get their footing. So it turned into like a really, physical, type of game. And, and as a fan, I'm pretty sure you enjoyed to watch it, just to watch 2 teams just, play very physical for all 4 quarters.
Well, and I want to ask you that before Ed jumps in here. You are a former football player from standout days, Ocean Lakes, defensive lineman, Shawan. Played for a couple of guys that we know quite well, Chris Scott, Tommy Austin, if I'm not mistaken, as well as your coaches. Are you one that – I've run into NFL guys that hate it, and I don't know all the reasons why, but the artificial turf grass discussion, which always gets discussed.
Yeah.
When you have rain like you did and you end up playing a muddy field, you're probably saying, I need that turf. But there are some players that don't love the turf. Where do you stand on it now as a coach and as a former player? What do you make of it? Because there are more turf fields than in the past, but when you play on a field that's not the greatest, it can also impact your performance and how you go about doing things, correct?
Yeah, but I think it's going to sound crazy. I think the beautiful thing about football is, you just got to show up and play. If it's turf, if it's grass, if you had to play on a basketball court. I know that sounds crazy. But football is one of those sports where you can't really control anything. You just got to go out there and play. You might play in the snow. You might play in the rain. So I think that's what makes football great. Even as a player, I was never, hey, we're playing turf this week. We're playing grass. It's going to be sunny because you can't control the weather. You just got to go out there and play. So I think that's what makes football great. You got to go out there and just play, no matter what the conditions are, no matter what the field is, just got to go out there and play. I think that's what makes our game great.
We're chatting with Anthony Joffron. He's the head football coach of the 8-1 Kings Fork Bulldogs, who are averaging 39.3 points per game, giving up just 14.7 points per game as they're coming off their fifth straight win, 21-14 over Indian River before a matchup at home against the rival Nansemond River, a Suffolk showdown coming up on Friday, November 7th. It is 757 Sports Talk on Cova Sports TV. Like, share, and subscribe. Ed?
You're going into this game with Indian River. Okay, it's in a little bit of a different type of field in terms of the mud and whatever. Does that change your perspective on maybe what has to occur right in those first few series, whether you're on offense or whether you're on defense? What has to occur because of field condition, or once you put a game plan in, it doesn't matter about condition. This is what we have to do.
Yeah, I would say for us, it was, we have to be able to run the football. Running the football, like when you get to the playoffs, you're going to have to run the football. So for us, that defensive front from Indian River and their linebacking core, that's a very, physical group. Jamari Horton, Corey Sanderlin, number 5 for them, just really good players. And they made it tough for us to run inside at times. We even went quick game, like hitches, things like that. Their D linemen are jumping up, batting it down. It was a very physical game. And then, in the fourth quarter, we were able, to hit a couple runs outside, make some runs that we really needed towards the end. Artis Boone was able to, make some plays vertically, at the end of the game. But it's a physical football game. You got to be able to run the football at the end of the day.
I know.
Yeah,
go ahead.
What I was going to say, when you're talking about running the football, and again, I call it a greasy field when it's got a lot of mud and slip and slide. One of our buddies is I think he deals with your running backs, Rod Johnson. Mm-hmm. Tell us something about what Rod Johnson is bringing to the table.
Yeah, Rod Johnson, he's a character, man. At first when he came on, he was a little nervous, a little shy. Wasn't too comfortable around me. But now he's full blown. I love Rod Johnson. We have 2 running backs. We don't really have a starter. He rotates them, whenever he feels. They're both starters. And then, in today's culture, it's tough to get kids to buy into that, that you guys got to share carries, that you guys got to share the load. And Coach Johnson has done an amazing job of, making those kids believe that they're a family, that they're a unit, that the other kids' success is their success. And that's hard to do in today's culture. And he got them buying into their Sonic and Knuckles. And I think, they bought hats, they wear them before the game, and they're really into this Sonic and Knuckles thing. I think it's hilarious. And Coach Rod Johnson wears the hat. I don't know what he has going on, but he's a character. He's a character.
Well, see, Ed, we got to educate him. Sonic and Knuckles, that's like Sonic the Hedgehog, the video game where you had Tails back in the Sega Genesis days. And then Ed's still, that's totally foreign to him. But those 2 backs, Isaiah Gilliam and Preston Hall, have been doing great, which I got to throw in here, and I'm sure Ed will follow up. He loves it when you're throwing it on 4th and inches and flea flickers. You threw it on 4th and 1 from the 9. How big of a play situation? You have those backs, but tell me what went through that process, because that really was the game right there, wasn't it?
Yeah, so we're on the headset, and Coach Johnson, obviously he's like, give the ball to Sonic. It's 4th and inches, or Knuckles, whoever was in the game. And then, Coach Asper, he's been with me for 4 years, but he would have been my coach in high school. He's been coaching longer than I've been alive. And he's like, you got to run the ball. And I kind of said like, hey, DeAndre Artis-Boone's been here since 8th grade, so has Darius Wynn. Let's take this shot. And it ended up working out. But those communications in the headset, man, they're priceless, man. Those are some of the things that you remember, forever. And I'll never forget that conversation. It was hilarious.
Ed can relate when he tells his assistant coaches to sit down. We're not going to press here or double team. I'm doing what I said, and that's what goes. And it's fine, all right? You do that all the time, don't you, Ed?
Yeah, we need to start getting some headsets in basketball, so I can say what I really want to say without everybody knowing what I just said to them.
Yeah, exactly.
But my thing, Coach, when I heard Matt had said that about throwing it, I was excited because I'm always trying to tell you football dudes, 4th and inches, 4th and 2. Everybody in the world knows you're going to run, and they stack it up. Throw the flea flicker, do the flea flicker, the end around. Put the guard in the backfield, give it to him because everybody's going to think he's busting through. And as he runs, throw it right over the top to a tight end. It's open every time. And none of you guys want to listen, but you did, and you got a win out of it. I don't want none of the credit. Okay, that goes all to you. But tell those assistant coaches, you're the head coach. We're going what I say. They don't like it. There's openings next year.
Hey, it's tough in today's coaching culture, man, But I got a great coaching staff. I know I'm difficult to work with at times, man, but it makes it all worthwhile, man, when you're able to get out tough wins, especially when, it's tough. It's 7 days a week.
Ed's second favorite play of all time was a Tim Tebow jump pass for a touchdown, Coach. His number one is the next Notre Dame touchdowns. We are joined by Anthony Joffrion, the head football coach of the Kings Fork Bulldogs. I say next Notre Dame touchdown because Ed is a lifelong Fighting Irish fan. But big game for your team here on deck. Before we let you run, a couple more questions I want to throw your way, and we thank you for the time. You have Nansemond River coming up, and your defense has got a lot of ballers on it. You got Joshua Pittman, who we can maybe touch on. I know he's committed to Virginia Tech, but our school start recruit him. We talked about Brody Doyle out of Glenver, similar situation, setting records. He's committed to Charlotte. He's got offers from UVA and others now poking around, but Pittman's the guy people are trying to get. But you have some others that have stepped up, Ernest Jones Jr., Darion Knight, your secondary. How much is this game going to be about your defense now trying to slow down one of the area's top passers in the quarterback, Tyrell Grant Jr., who's committed to Syracuse, and that Nansemond River passing attack? It's a really neat chess match. Your defense, your secondary, your pass rush against that QB and those receivers coming up on Friday night.
Yeah, it's it's going to be a big game for us. We've been saying it all year. Defense, wins championships. Defense is what wins in the playoffs. So, Coach Steve Evans, Coach Joe Jones, I think they've done a great job of, consistently getting our defense better. Really excited for some of the battles out there. Reginald Davis, he didn't give up a catch last week. And they have, Indy River has some talented receivers. So I'm really excited to see him. We have a young free safety, Nasir Jones. He stepped in and he's looked amazing the last couple of weeks. Artis Boone in the secondary, Tyler Jordan at linebacker. It's a lot of battles where guys are going to have to make plays in key situations. So that's really what I'm looking forward to. We all know Tyrell Grant, is a phenomenal quarterback. So I'm really just excited to see how our defense, is going to rise to the challenge, especially on senior night. It's going to be a lot of motion, a lot of these seniors. It's going to be a great night.
Yeah, and at last check, Ed, the 5B playoff power points, they are razor close. Maury's the number one at 31.38. Kings Fork is 2 at 30.67. Then you have Warwick at 3, 27.67. Nansemond River at 4, 27.0. Not often do you see a 7-2 as a 4, 6-3 in Bethel as the 5 seed by that region that you are in, Coach, and Ed can chime in on it too. Very loaded, arguably as good as there is in the state.
Yeah, I'm definitely saying that it's almost like we talk in basketball. Sometimes it's tougher to get out of the region than it is to go win a state title in the States. But obviously, you got to take them as they come. Coach, I'm interested. Question I had on my mind. You're late in the year here now. You got your regular season finale coming up, playoffs coming up. Is there a couple players? I don't want to put you on the spot with one, but maybe a couple players who have come through for you that maybe at the beginning of the year you weren't sure, you were hoping, or you might not even remember their names back at the beginning of the year when got all those kids out there for workouts and whatever. But a couple, 3 kids maybe that have really come through that we don't maybe get a chance to hear a lot, or maybe they have done well and we've heard about them, but at the beginning of the year, we weren't sure about them.
Yeah. I would say the biggest guy is, Terrell Godwin. He's been in the program since 8th grade. He's in his junior year now. He played at times last year as a sophomore, but he stepped up huge this year. He leads our team in receiving touchdowns. Against Indian River, 3rd and 5, number 58 actually tips the ball. And then it was in tough coverage, and he still caught it. So he's a guy like I'm super proud of. I definitely think he's going to get some Division I looks this offseason. Just excited for him, man. He's just a guy who's worked really hard. Especially, in today's culture, man, where everybody wants the football, everybody wants these early Division I offers. He's just been a kid who's just put his head down and just worked. And, to see the season he's having, man, it's all because of his hard work.
That's awesome. Well, Coach, we wish you all the best coming up on Friday night. The Bulldogs and the Warriors, Kings Fork at 8-1, Nansemond River at 7-2. Should be another raucous atmosphere in Suffolk. I'm upset I got to miss it because I have women's basketball radio responsibilities, so I'll be tuning in later on NFHS and following the updates throughout the evening. And Ed, by the way, will not be rooting against you like he's been for every other year now. He's no longer wearing the red and black of Nansemond. So
yeah, you got to come, Ed. You got to make a choice what sideline you want to go to. You got to come. We'll you can get on the golf cart, man. We'll make sure you're comfortable. You got to come.
Yeah, well, I would need the golf cart enclosed, heat on, and I need some snacks.
Yeah.
Okay. And we'll go from there because
you got to be with Derek Bryant, man. I heard he was your best assistant coach back in the day.
DB drove me crazy, man. DB drove me crazy. Yeah. I remember DB, you talk about stories. DB, hey, coach, I think we need a timeout. I said, DB, I think we need new players. Can you guys go find me new players? I'm going to call timeout for him, cuss him out. But I already know we're doing that bad. Get me 5 new players. So DB, he was a good one. I hated to lose him, but he's a good one. But when he got your job as principal, I said, they let him in charge of a whole building?
Right. That's funny. Wow. Y'all got to spend some time, man. Get on the board, talk some basketball. Because I can't sit with him at basketball games. He can't sit with anybody. He just sits there, and you can't really bother him during a basketball game. Yeah, you'll get him at a football game, though.
He's still in that coaching mode. Yeah, he's still in that coaching mode. DB is one of a kind, man. I love that guy dearly.
Yes, sir.
Well, Coach, enjoy the rest of your weekend and the big matchup coming up, and I'm sure we'll be chatting during the playoffs.
Yes, sir.
Good luck to you, Coach. Go ahead and go through that bag of candy now and get what you want.
All right. Appreciate you guys.
Thank you, Coach. That's Anthony Joffre of the Kings Fork Bulldogs doing a heck of a job. 8-1 on the year. Love him shouting out all his assistant coaches from Marty Asprey and Rod Johnson to Steve Evans and others that help make it possible. It does take a village, as they say.
I wanted to know because there's the rumor Rod Johnson is coaching. We see his Facebook
he's coaching.
Time. But I never known if he's actually on the sideline or they got him out behind a goalpost or something, getting the balls when they kick him through the goalpost. But Coach just said he was there. He's doing a great job of rotating 2 really good players. And he got on the headset and he said, Coach, this is my guy's turn to run this thing. Let's go with it. And, of course, he trumped everybody and said, no, we're going to throw it.
Yeah, Sonic and Knuckles. Although Coach Joffre didn't listen to him or Asprey. He said, I'm throwing this thing in 4th and 1. He channeled his inner Ed Young, and it paid off.
He's the head coach. He has the right to trump them now. When we mess up,
it's we. It's yeah.
Classic assistant coach stance. Told you, dumb idiot. You should have ran the ball. I told you.
Or, you have to be careful when you channel your inner Ed Young. Things can go a little haywire at times. Trust me.
It can be.
We'll come back. We've got more coming your way. NFL picks around the corner. We're going to play a little take your pick in college football too. And that'll close out this episode of 757 Sports. We do all of that. It's good OJ. Ed's got OJ. He loves his orange juice.
My orange juice, baby. Got to have good
James
OJ.
Simpson, the late Orenthal James System OJ. Back with more. Don't touch that dial. You're watching Cova Sports TV. You're going to hear from some of our partners like Town Bank coming up too on Cova Sports TV.
Did you know that the minimum limits in Virginia are $30,000? $30,000 is a lot of money on an individual basis. But if you're involved in a personal injury matter, that's not enough. Here at Williams Deloach, we're happy to provide a consultation on the amount of coverage you have in your vehicle. It can be confusing. Not many people understand it. You know you need to have it, but do you have enough? Give us a call today at 757-547-5555 so we can help you prepare and in the case of an automobile accident or any other personal injury matter that you or your family may find yourself in.
For any athlete, making it to the top sometimes comes with a few steps back. That's why there's CHKD Sports Medicine. Advanced diagnostics, treatment, and rehabilitation for sports injuries, just for young athletes like yours.
What's up at DQ? Oh, just the best deal ever. The $7 bacon cheeseburger meal deal. Bacon cheeseburger, fries, drink, and a sundae. No time to be modest. It's all full size for just $7. Right now at DQ. Happy tastes good.
Well, it's everybody's favorite time of year again. Time to prepare to make your annual donation to that infernal revenue service. And if you're like me, you need help. Help to keep that donation as small as possible. So get off your W-2 and call John Maynard at John's Tax Service. 455-6763.
As a banker at Town Bank, we believe that people bank with people, not with banks. You're looking for an actual personal relationship, and that's what you get at our bank. You get that person that gets to know you, gets to know your business, is there for you. I think that is what motivates us, what drives us. And the idea that we are trying to serve others and enrich lives, I think is very true.
What makes a life a good one? Is it our adventures? Or the friends we find along the way? Is it the challenges we conquer together? Maybe it's the people's lives we touch every single day. So, what makes a life a good one? You'll have to figure that one out for yourself.
After more than 50 years of innovation, AstroTurf still leads the way. The inventor of artificial turf does it all, right here in the USA. We engineer, test, manufacture, and install the world's most innovative fibers and turf technologies, with over 30,000 tracks and fields worldwide. AstroTurf, powered by Sport Group.
All right, I'm here with the head football coach of the Heritage-Lynchburg Pioneers, Brad Bradley. His team wins the thriller 35-33 over their Seminole District rival Liberty Christian, the reigning two-time Class 3 state champs. Now 8-1 on the season. Coach, this just how you drew it up. Going down to the wire against these guys who you might see again come late November.
I think we will.
Tell me about this game, because I felt like, in speaking with a couple of your leaders here with Zaid, Holloway, and Ayden Slash, this was a game you might have lost in the past, but this group's maturity and growth and perseverance has helped them get to this point to where they can compete for a championship, right?
Y'all don't hear me as much over in this end of the state as I am, but they get tired of what I say here. Kids win games, coaches lose games. Mm-hmm. These kids tonight found a way to win. And I'll be honest with you, man, that's what you just talked about. These kids were sophomores. We went 6-5 in 2023, and we played not bad football. We had some close games, but you're right. We did not let anything bother us tonight. We treat every game as a 48-minute fight, 4 rounds, and I thought we answered the bell. And, everything wasn't pretty. It wasn't perfect. We had some mistakes, definitely some explosive plays on the defensive side of the ball. Safeties, we had a couple misfits on the run game, especially that first play right there in the second half. But at the end of the day, we didn't put our head down. We didn't sulk, and we didn't feel sorry for ourselves. We just picked each other up and then put each other down. And we've been talking about, if we played for the name on the front of our chest instead of the back of our chest, we got a chance in every single game. And I think our kids did that tonight.
I think the big microcosm of that was Ayden Slash. You're driving on them. Second half, your offense starts clicking, throws the pick, but you get the
dumb head coach called a pass.
But you get the ball back, and he makes the right reads and plays, including a read option play. You go up 9 here, and then there was a play looked like you got a fumble.
Well, I'll tell you what the play that really Ayden Slash get credit for. Okay. Third quarter, going towards the scoreboard. Yep. We end up in a third down. We had a pass, end up calling it over here, and he ends up throwing the ball to the left, and we get the first down.
The curl pattern, right?
Small hitch, yes. And unbelievable job on his part, man. Yeah. He called that. He took that. He knew what the situation was over there. That's a lot of film. That's a lot of film work and a lot of dedication to him.
You push these guys really hard in conditioning off season. I know you do. Do you feel like just the camaraderie rubbing off? Because again, you guys,
if you play at Heritage, you got to have thick skin. Yeah. And you can't feel sorry for yourself all the time, because at the end of the day, man, we're going to coach the crap out of you, but we love you to death. And that's what these kids are starting to feel like. We love you. We love them, and we're going to love all of them. I think, our guy, Devin here, he's been around our football team for 2 years. I think he can tell you that, man. We truly love these kids. We truly going to love all of them. We're going to pour it out. But at the end of the day, if we're going to pour it out, man, we expect big things out of you. These kids are starting to answer the bell.
Come on, let you run. I could shout out a bunch of your guys on the line, defense, but I want to shout out 3 guys in particular on defense. Your wide receiver defensive back, Jaden Miller, I think, coming in tonight, leading you in picks with 5.
Yep.
Number 11 for your Raekwon Rucker. He was all over the place. And number 12, Tremeke Hudson, who was getting your guys fired up on the sideline. I thought he was like a little mini Brad Bradley out here. He had a couple of big stops. I think he leads in sacks. And those guys really made some spark plays when you need them, didn't they?
Well, yeah, I'm going to tell you what. Raekwon, we had him, Dom Jones, our starting safety, number 1, didn't practice until maybe 6 plays on Wednesday, and only took probably 15, maybe 20 reps yesterday in the run through. So Raekwon was kind of playing backer and safety this week and coming back and forth. Man, that's hard. You got to play outside linebacker now. You got edge, and you got to play safety over here. You got to cook. So we had a couple of mistakes in there, but man, his tenacity and his consistency, just coming back. And that's the thing about it, man. You're gonna in life. We try to teach that, because at the end of the day, high school football is going to be over pretty quickly. It goes like that. But, in life, if you just keep punching, you keep punching. Things aren't always going to go your way, but you keep punching, you're going to have success eventually. And that's what it's all about, is just keep on coming.
No doubt. You play a championship team tonight. And by the way, you play a team in a week from now who's a Class 4 contender in Jefferson Forest. You don't want to share the Seminole District, but another prize fight type of battle. These games harden you for the playoffs, don't they?
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is, man. This is what, and I know we're a little down this year as a whole district, but I still feel the top 3 teams, us, LCA, and Jefferson Forest are all really good football teams, and much respect for, Coach Cruz and what he does over there. Man, it's going to be another slobber knocker. And that's what Seminole football is.
Well, congrats. So we enjoyed the trip up here, and then go get some candy, all right?
Hey, man, I appreciate y'all. Hey, happy Halloween, and I tell you what, that orange on orange was nice tonight. That was pretty special. Thank you, man. Appreciate you.
And now back to Matthew Hatfield and that evil basketball coach. Blast you, Ed Young!
You gotta love the passion, enthusiasm, and fire that burns in one Brad Bradley of the Heritage-Lynchburg Pioneers, who won a classic yesterday on Halloween, 35-33 over Liberty Christian. He's your type of guy. I can just tell you nodding the head, and your type of coach there, Ed.
Yeah, that guy had me pumped up. I mean, he was answering questions before you got the question out. He's one of the dudes you unplug him, and he goes even more. He got to be a treat to play for. I imagine some of those kids sometimes wonder where he's coming from, but he's passionate. I believe he just listening. I don't know the young man, but I got to believe he really cares about his kids, and he's going to do what it takes to get the most out of them. And usually guys of that nature, not just screamers for the heck of it. And if you are, you shouldn't be coaching, but it's a more to get from those kids that they don't even know they have.
Yeah. All right, let's play some Take Your Pick. You ready for 5 college football games we have on the docket today before we do our NFL picks? And we'll actually sprinkle in a couple of power ratings thoughts as I'm getting all kinds of coaches texting me. What do you project here, Hatfield? What do you project there? And I'm like, can I get some shot?
I did too. I got somebody saying, hey, are you guys going to put the ratings up so as the famous as if they played right now? I said, time. He didn't get in. A lot of things going on.
I don't know what's going on with your reset. You were breaking up. At least you were on my end. How about your end? Go ahead. What were you saying?
No, what I'm saying is somebody that texted me and said, hey, you guys going to do the ratings like you normally do as if who played, the playoff started right now. What's the match?
We'll do that. We'll do after we do the Take Your Pick, we'll do a segment on that. It'll be a quickie. And then we'll do the NFL picks. So yes, we will. If you tell people that's coming, we gotta tease you, make you wait. Tease you. No teasing.
That's why I tell people, y'all get on Hatfield for all this stuff. Give the man time. He'll get to it. He just told you he'll do it. There are times he's pretty decent. He's not totally waterlogged from pool to pool in the summer. So give him a chance.
No, not at all. We'll show him too. Thanks to our good friends over at Harp Crate that are helping do some of the power ratings too. All right. Take your pick. Vanderbilt at Texas today. Longhorns favored by 3.5 against Diego Pavia and his Commodores team. Why are you shaking your head?
Okay, I'm about ready to bust on somebody in terms of screaming. How is Texas favored when they're ranked 20th in the country, and Vanderbilt is everybody's love bug this year. They're ranked 9th, but they're not the favorite. You're going to tell me, well, they're going into Texas. Texas don't have a starting quarterback. When is a team ranked below somebody without their starting quarterback?
Is Arch Manning definitely out for this game?
From what I understand, he is definitely out. But now, don't quote me on that, but a backup dude.
Well, as of 15 hours ago, it said he'll start. 20 hours ago, it said it'd be game time decision. 33 minutes ago, he's back in the lineup today. So let me just correct you here. He is in the lineup today. And he does have more passing yards than Diego Pavia for all of his faults. And I'm not saying Arch Manning is necessarily better, having a better season than Diego Pavia. But right now today, his 1795 yards through the air is 7 more than his 1698 of Pavia. And their touchdown INT ratios are almost equal. Pavia's leading rusher for Texas. Now, Texas's running game has been non-existent this year. Non-existent. Leading rusher, Mr. Wisner, Quintrevion Wisner, has 263 yards rushing, leading the Longhorns through 8 games. That's not good enough to cut the mustard. So I actually do agree with you. I think 3.5 is too much, but I could see Texas winning by a field goal. So it could be a half-point cover for Vandy in this ballgame. What says you?
Give me Texas by a touchdown.
After all that, how are they favored and you're taking Texas? Give me what? How
Because
did
they couldn't be I was going to play this game, but I can't because Texas favored. So if they win, people are going to say, well, you won your 5 cents. What are you complaining about? They shouldn't be the favorite. I think
nobody's making you have to put 5 cents, 10 cents, or 25 cents. I'm just asking you to take your pick. Let's go to the next one. Miami at SMU. That's SMU. SMU. Smooth over. Hey, SMU looked really good. This is the first meeting with Miami. They had a 20-game conference win streak at SMU, which was the most in the country before SMU took the blemish 13-12 at Wake last week. They beat Clemson 35-24 the week before. We know about the 2 quarterbacks in this game, Carson Beck and Kevin Jennings, who's really good for SMU, over 2,100 yards passing the football. Question to me in this one here, Ed, is SMU going to be able defensively to hold up against this Miami team, get pressure on Beck, and win the battle up front in the trenches? If they do, they got a chance to not only cover but win outright.
I agree with you on that. I just don't know if SMU can take care of that speed that Miami shows. I think 9.5 is too much. I think Miami wins, but SMU covers.
That's a bad feeling. All right, I'm going to say Miami wins and SMU covers. Miami wins something like 31-23. You cool with that?
Yeah, that's what I think too. That Miami will win it, but SMU will cover it. I know they're making a big deal of this on one of the college game day situations where it's homecoming. The coach for SMU just signed an extension, multi-year extension. Things are running high in SMU, and for bowl purpose, I don't think SMU has any chance of playoffs. But
Right.
decent bowl situation, SMU would be big to get a win.
Indeed. Let's go to the next one, shall we? And that next one is involving the Georgia Bulldogs. This is what is the world's largest cocktail party. Is that what they once called this? With Georgia and Florida, 6-1 versus 3-4. No more Billy Napier leading the Gators and the Chomp. Now, what does jump out at me in this one here is Georgia 27th in the country in third down percentage. All right. You know where Florida is in third down percentage offensively in the country, Ed? They are 7th worst. So what I say all that to say this. If the Gators get thrust in third downs, and this ends up being a game where they're like 2 for 15 on third downs, this is going to be a beatdown. Florida's got to convert third downs. If they do, got a chance with Lagway. If they don't, see you later. Georgia wins in a rout.
Earlier in the week, I was having a feeling of going with Florida. This would be the type of game that they would, at home, bring back echoes of the past and knock off a Georgia team at home in a year where Florida's not done much. Rumors about Napier is gone. I'm kind of going back the other way. I just think Georgia is too strong for them. I think they make a statement early and often, and Florida will just have to try to play catch up. But if you tell me come Sunday, hey, Florida beat them, they won by 4 field goal, I'm not going to be surprised because that was my early feeling.
This could be a defensive battle, too, by the way. Georgia's 31st in scoring defense and Florida's 34th. So this might be one of the lower scoring games than a high scoring game. Here's one that really captivates the Commonwealth, doesn't it, Ed? Virginia goes to the West Coast, the left coast, to take on the Cal Golden Bears. 5-3 record for Cal. This is not an easy game for UVA. Can UVA win another one that maybe goes down to the wire? They've had some comebacks here as of late. A lot of spice in this game that's going to kick off at 3:45 Eastern on ESPN2. And we'll see if Chandler Morris can have his way with the Cal defense. I got a bad feeling for UVA. We know we talked about this was not going to be the one that scared me as much as the Duke game, but they've been living on the edge here, and their defense has made some timely plays. Cam Robinson, the linebacker from Essex, being a big part of that effort. What's your feel on this game? Because Cal is sneaky.
Yeah, Cal, nobody's mentioning Cal much at all this year. They've had a little bit better season than expected. I think Virginia's had a lot better season than expected. It is tough. I'm sure they probably got through the West Coast earlier in the week. Been there maybe at least a couple. I would like to think a couple of days. You don't arrive the day of the game, and I think it would be kind of foolish to arrive the day before, at least 2 days before. Get yourself climbed into the time change, whatever. Maybe it's because I love my in-state team. I think Virginia can win this, and it might be one of those come from behind, maybe last series tight win, even that proverbial field goal with no time left on the clock. Okay. California will not be I don't think there'll be a pushover for Virginia at home. I really don't. California's playing at ease. It's, like I said, a better year than they expected. Virginia, I think, has a little bit of pressure on them because they keep winning. Could they be in the 12-team hunt for the championship? If they win the ACC, they're in. So pressure's a little bit more on Virginia. And it's funny to say, but this is an ACC game.
Well, and here's an interesting little factoid for you. I'm going to take, believe it or not, Cal plus the 5.5 here if I was to take a pick. Leader in sacks for Cal with 3 on the year, which is not a lot, is TJ Bush. You say, who is he and why do we care? Go ahead and say it. Who is he? Why do we care? Go ahead and say it.
Why do we care? Who is he?
Okay. He is from Freedom High School in Woodbridge. Yeah, and TJ Bush has moved around a little bit. Didn't begin his career with the Cal Golden Bears. Started out at Liberty. Was once a Coastal Carolina commit. So he played 2 years at Liberty. Goes to Cal on the West Coast. That's that coin. But the reason he's big is, can he generate the pass rush on Morris? If Morris has time to sit back and throw. I'll tell you this. If Morris gets sacked fewer than 2 times, Virginia wins. If he gets sacked more than twice, I think they lose. That's the game.
You go with Cal. I'm going to go with UVA.
Okay, that's fair. And the last one, you know who's 4th in America in passing yards at the FBS level, Football Bowl subdivision? That is Joey Aguilar from Tennessee, only behind Sawyer Robertson of Baylor, Drew Mestamaker of North Texas, and Josh Hoover of TCU. Will he be slinging it on the Oklahoma defense? This is a coin flip of a game. Boomer Sooners 6-2 at Tennessee, 6-2. What do you think with Oklahoma and Tennessee?
Oklahoma sputtering a little bit here and there. Tennessee at home, it's a different feel when you're playing it where the Vols play. All that orange and white all over the place. Rocky Mount being blared out on the speakers. I'm going to go Tennessee in this one. I think they overwhelm Oklahoma early and hold on, keep the lead.
45.6 points per game for them. Oklahoma's defense is 5th in the country in total yards allowed, 6th in scoring defense, 6th against the run. Against the pass, though, they're pretty good. They're tied for 10th, but I'm curious to see if that Oklahoma defense, which has been really rock solid all year long. They've only given up more than 23 points once, which was the loss to Ole Miss last week, 34-26. I'm really curious to see if this defense can hold up. I'm with you. I think Tennessee, I think Aguilar and company might start off slow, but they get the wheels turning in the second half to pull away from OU in that matchup. So there you have it. That covers Take Your Pick college football style for this first Saturday of November 2025. Yeah.
I'm surprised you didn't put another game up there.
What's the other game you want me to say?
Cincinnati at Utah.
I'll let you go say Notre Dame and BC.
No, Notre Dame wins
well,
that.
Well, I have a moment. Who do you like in Cincinnati, Utah? I like Utah to win that game.
I do. I'm going Utah too at home. I think Cincinnati bubble gets burst here. I think Utah wins that.
The other one I thought you might say, besides that potential to bring up there, was another SEC game. South Carolina at 3-5, taking on number 7 Ole Miss, who's 7-1 down in Oxford. Remember, Ole Miss just beat Oklahoma the week before. They had Georgia. They had to lead and didn't hold it. And South Carolina, by the way, coming off a near upset of Alabama. 2 good quarterbacks with Lenore Sellers of South Carolina and Trinidad Chambliss for Ole Miss. It's weird to say Ole Miss really good quarterback because the guy playing for the Giants, Jackson Dart, is having a rookie of the year type of year. But Ole Miss is actually favored by 12.5 in that game. Seems a little much. Probably wins, but maybe a little much.
Yeah, I think probably because they're at home. I think it was in South Carolina. You wouldn't see that. They'd be favored, but probably by 6.5. I'm going to stick with Mississippi. It's funny. Lane Kiffin's name's mentioned for every big job.
Do they handle the distraction? And how does South Carolina play off the near upset? Ole Miss having 2 physical games. That could go a couple different ways. That could be 31-13 Ole Miss. It could be the upset, or it could be down to the wire. That could go a couple different ways.
Yeah, it really can. I'm going to stick with Mississippi, at least 14-point win.
Even though you probably can't spell Mississippi. It's okay.
With a lot of I's and a lot of S's and a couple P's.
There you go, a couple P's. We'll come back with some playoff power ratings and projections right here on 757 Sports Talk. Where are they watching, Edward?
One of the best places to watch.
It's 757 Saturday Sports Talk with Matt Hatfield and the one and only Coach Ed Young. Every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. on Cova Sports TV. From high school football and basketball to the NFL, MLB, college sports, and the NBA, if it's making headlines, they are breaking it down. Bold takes, big-time guests, and a few laughs, especially at the expense of that basketball coach, Ed Young. Catch it on Cox TV and your view, and don't forget to like and subscribe on YouTube at Cova Sports TV.
What is more? What is more? Is it more reps, more strength, more stamina? We say it's all of that, but it's greater than just what's in the mirror. It's about improving your mental and physical health. More is a feeling of achievement, fulfillment, confidence. It's looking better, feeling better, being better, and it's our mission to get you there. Because here, you are more. One Life Fitness.
As a banker at Town Bank, we believe that people bank with people, not with banks. You're looking for an actual personal relationship, and that's what you get at our bank. You get that person that gets to know you, gets to know your business, is there for you. I think that is what motivates us, what drives us, and the idea that we are trying to serve others and enrich lives, I think is very true.
What makes a life a good one? Is it our adventures? Or the friends we find along the way? Is it the challenges we conquer together? Maybe it's the people's lives we touch every single day. So, what makes a life a good one? You'll have to figure that one out for yourself.
A very sad sign. The pool is covered for the remainder of 2025. And with that, we send it back to Matt Hatfield and the coach, Ed Young, on 757 Sports Talk on Cova Sports TV.
Yeah, it depresses me every time. It really does. No pool. Very tough.
It depresses me only because It reminds me winter's coming, which is not my favorite season with a lot of coldness. That's the only reason I'm depressed. What I'm glad about is no fool in the pool. But I have said, and so have many of the constituents and many of our guests said,
constituents. Who are these constituents that you speak of?
They're all over. They're in my phone. They're in
Don't
my
make up
IG.
George, Fred, Bob. Who are these people you speak of?
Yep. Sideline Bob is one of them. He says,
No.
"Why is Hatfield, when he sticks his head out of the trash can where they got the coffee grounds?"
Oh man, come on,
Why
man! Why you not? Why you guys? Bob would never say that about me. Stop it.
Bob said, "Why doesn't Hatfield go in the pool in December and January?" I said, "Because he's chicken. You know, that's what it is."
Stop it. All right, people care about this now more than that. That's the playoff projections and what they can see and find. Let's go to the regions, right? Let's go to 6A and find out what's happening there, right? All right, so take them to you in order here. Oscar Smith's the number 1 seed, 35.0. They got that puppy on lock. Manchester's the 2, 33.11. They beat Huguenot. They're in good shape. They lose to Huguenot and open the door for Dell to get the 2. There you go. Western Branch, they're the 4 seed ahead of LC Bird, the 5. Bruins close out the regular season at Oscar Smith. Will a loss hurt them enough? Probably not. They probably stave off LC Bird to stay in that 4-5, host them in the first round type of game. Again, not official, but that's what it looks like as of today. And then your cutoff, remember, they only take 6 teams this year, Ed, not 8 for Region 6A. So Cosby, Grassfield, J.R. Tucker, adios amigos. Lansdowne's going to be the 6th seed. They probably can't jump up high to Bird, to number 5. They seem to be pretty locked in there with Kellam coming up. Win or lose, I don't think a loss and a Cosby win's enough to flip it. Might, but we'll look at the numbers closer this weekend and get you a better answer. Let's go to 5A, shall we? You want to go to 5A? Let's go to 5A. 5A, you got Green Run at the top, number 1 seed, 32.89, 9-0, looking good. Indian River is number 2 at 7-2. The loss did not damage them enough, although winner of Cox Kempsville is going to jump ahead of Indian River, we do project, because it doesn't look like the win over Hickory, should they get it as expected, will be enough to keep the Braves on the 2 line. They'll probably drop to the 3 line, and then you're looking at Kempsville and Cox, the loser, being bumped potentially even behind Salem, you say, right? Unless Salem gets very little from beating a winless Princess Anne. So that game has a lot on the line, Ed. Cox Kempsville. Winner can get up to the 2. Loser could possibly shift all the way down to the 5. That's as big a swing as there is, isn't there?
Yeah. Now in this region, we're taking 8, right?
Taking 8. Doesn't look like a Bayside win over Tallwood will be enough for them to jump past the 6 to the 5 line. But again, we'll crunch those numbers as we go. It might happen. So actually, we'll look at those a little harder. But that could be that Kempsville Cox game could be ginormous. Not enormous, but ginormous. Because I have to run the numbers again. But they might even, the loser might fall to the 6 as opposed to the winner being a 2. That's a big deal because not only do you host potentially 2 playoff games, but you got to go on the road for 1 if you lose there. Kellam looks locked into the 7. Now, here's the big question. Deep Creek and Hickory are tied at 22.44, right? So let's run the math here. Who do they have left, Matt? Who do they have left? Go ahead, ask it. Who do they have left, Matt?
Who do they have left?
Deep Creek plays winless Grassfield. Not going to get much from that, correct? Hickory has to host Indian River. So a win over a winless Grassfield still is going to generate more than a loss to a highly ranked Indian River, correct? Correct. So what's it mean? Pretty much means this. Hickory, you've got, which is not what we thought initially. We actually was telling people yesterday that reached out to me, I think Hickory was going to have the edge. Doesn't look like it now based on these numbers, which are unofficial. We'll get the official numbers from Greg Ayden, who does the points from LC Bird for Class 5. We'll get some more official numbers from Region Chairs the next couple of days. But this is the people at Harp Crate who do a really good job. Check out their website. We'll have links to it on virginiapreps.com to see their work. It looks like, based on these calculations, that it's going to be Deep Creek sitting most likely as the 8, Hickory as the team out, unless Hickory goes and knocks off Indian River. And if they do that, that throws this whole thing into chaos because River would slide potentially down to like the 6th seed if they were to lose that game. So I don't think they will. Could it happen? Well, if Evan White goes out and balls out for Hickory and has a monster game and River has a letdown. Never know. These are high school kids, as you like to say. High school kids. Tallwood, does a win over Bayside launch you in? Believe it or not, that is the one scenario that could play some havoc into things. I don't think it does, but it might. So I'm not going to say it doesn't, but we'll run the numbers this weekend to see. So I don't think Tallwood has enough to jump into that picture as we look at it a little closer. Would you like to go to 5B, sir?
Let's do that.
Let's do that, he says. Morey's the 1. Kings Fork is the 2. Warwick the 3. Nansman the 4. Bethel the 5. Norview the 6. Granby now has vaulted ahead of Woodside for that last spot. And then you have Kickitan sitting on the outside looking in. Menchville's not going to make it. Sorry, guys. You only got one win this year. Morey, you win. What's that?
No, I'm saying that I would think it's pretty well set. Nobody's going to overtake Morey. Kings Fork, Nan's River. There you go.
Well, I would tell you this. Had Granby take that back. Granby didn't win any out-of-district games. Now, the Granby-Norcom game today could have a little say because if Morey's going to get a couple bonus points from that. I think, again, we'll run the numbers. We'll see what Kings Fork's out-of-district game with Wise has, and then Morey's out-of-district opponents, which are Verina, which got a win over Highland Springs, and Cardinal Gibbons and McNamara. But I think Morey still ekes it out over Kings Fork for that 1 seed. I don't think it's set in stone, though, but I think they do. Warwick is the 3 if Nansman loses, but if Nansman is to win, now that throws things into chaos to where Warwick is on the 4 line. I think in the case of Kings Fork and Nansman, they want to stay away from Morey until the region championship if they can. And Kings Fork has enough of a gap there. You see a full 3 points over Warwick and Nansman that the loss doesn't damage them a ton. So they look pretty situated into the 2 line. And Granby has Morey this week. That's not going to help. You say, what about Woodside? What do they have remaining for that last spot? They have Heritage. So that should flip. You're going to see Woodside flip ahead of Granby after this week. We would suspect, right? We would suspect.
Yeah, I could see that. But you're right. You made a key point. Nobody wants to be necessarily in that 4 or 5 spot. If you don't have to be, you can move it up because you don't play Morey until championship if things go according to plan.
Would you like to go to 4A? Let's go to 4A.
I think that's 4 is usually after 5. Let's do that.
Yeah, Hampton's the number 1 seed, 8-1 record. They've got a full edge on Lafayette. Lafayette's going to play tab, which is going to boost their power rating considerably with a win. Hampton's not going to get much. Well, actually, they will get much. They have Bethel to close. So actually, if Hampton was to lose to Bethel and Lafayette was to win, that could flip that. But that would require, Bethel knocking off Hampton. War Hill's there at the 3 line. Lions close out the regular season coming up against Gloucester. So they're not going to get a whole lot of boost from that. But they should still hold off Phoebus. Churchland, who's going to get that 4 or 5? Who's going to host it? Churchland's going to play Manor, not a whole lot of boost from that. Phoebus is going to play Menchville, not a whole lot of boost from that, but I don't think it's enough to flip it regardless of the outcome. So it looks pretty set there. Now, Smithfield goes and beats Poquoson, throws everything in the whack because Smithfield can certainly jump Churchland with the win there. So that could change things drastically. Denby's the 7, and Manor's going to most likely hold off Jamestown, Grafton, and the rest for the 8 seed. So I think really the thing that jumps out is that Smithfield-Poquoson game, if it has any impact on where things shake out, right?
Yeah, I'm looking at that too. But, it's kind of a situation that's you're not going to try to lose a game. But if Smithfield jumps up, now that puts them in a bracket, it possibly got to play a Phoebus. And then if they win, we're looking at Hampton.
I love the we. I love the we since you're over at Smithfield now. We're looking at
this. Yeah, I got to look at it.
Are you going to advise Tracy Parker to throw the game, not try to win? Is that what you're trying to tell me? Is what am I reading between the lines here?
That would never come out of my mouth or in my head.
I'm trying to get a read on you because you're a hard guy to read sometimes. You know that.
I would just. My thing is get on the field, win them all, get in the playoffs, win them all. And I do think Smithfield has a good chance to knock off Poquoson. Won't be easy. But I think there's a good chance they can. If they play what they're capable of playing. I've seen 4 or 5 games this year when they're on their mark, they can do some things. It's just that they'll make a mistake or two here or there, and then usually the other team will capitalize on it. And you do that against a Pocosin, it's a defeat because
who's going to block Carter Jones and Braden Agnes is the question. And it feels like you've been sleeping on Pocosin all year long from your preseason rankings where you had them behind the Packers. I think you had them fourth, if I remember right. And by the way, they went out and they knocked off Lafayette. And when you get 4 or 5 takeaways of Lafayette, you're doing something right on defense. So I think you're.
I had Warhill over Pocosin.
Oh, did you? Okay. I don't think that's right. I think you had. Well, you might have Warhill over Pocosin. Yeah, you know what? You are right. You did have that. You're right.
Well, of course I'm right. Very rare am I ever wrong. I didn't put Smithfield in the top 4.
Of course I'm right. Listen to you, cocky. All right, Lake Taylor's the 1 seed, it looks like, at 25.11. Petersburg is the 2. Petersburg plays Thomas Dale today, so that's not etched in stone. If they were to go knock off Thomas Dale, oy vey.
Which they won't.
But they won't? Are you saying that? Be careful what you say about Petersburg. It's their time now. It's their turn now.
I understand that, but they will not beat Thomas Dale.
All right, and if they do, you'll get your head shaved, right?
No.
Okay. New Kent's on the 3 line, Tab's on the 4 line. What do they have remaining? New Kent next week is going to play Jamestown. Not a whole lot of boost from that. Tab's going to play Lafayette, the underdog in that game. So New Kent should stay in front. Norcom is the 5 right now. Again, they play Granby today, so that could change things up. They have a chance to win their last 2. Does Norcom and then jump Tab. So I would project right now, if you ask me today, even though this shows Norcom as the 5, I think Norcom's going to move ahead of Tab. And they'll host Tab in the first round, which is actually a somewhat interesting first-round game. Hopewell is on the 6 line. York is on the 7. York got themselves, I think, into the playoffs with that win. Colonial Heights, I think, will hold off Heritage. They play King William coming up, which will give them some points. Heritage plays Woodside coming up. Heritage has got to beat Woodside to get in the postseason door, it looks like.
Thank you. I was going to say scroll a little bit because I couldn't see the bottom.
No, we did. We scrolled. We let you
so everybody's taking 8 teams except
No, not across the state. Not across the state.
Well, I mean,
go ahead.
Okay.
I'm listening.
No, I'm saying so far what we've seen, only one is taking 6.
Well, if you'd like, you can go to virginiapreps.com and see the power ratings link. And we have a link to the VHSL website that has what region formats are for each region. So as I do that while we speak at this specific moment, I can quickly tell you what other regions are taking less than 8, because there's a couple that are and doing it a little bit different. We have a link to the region playoff formats. 2B, region 2B is taking the top 6. Region 4C is taking the top 6 from the Catoctin and Dulles districts and doing it off district seedings, basically. And they're giving the district champs 1 and 2 seeds with a bye. 5D as in dog, 5D, which is Stonebridge and Riverbend's region, they're taking the top 6. And 6A is taking the top 6. So what is that? 4 regions I think I just outlined? 4 or 5? What is that? 1, 2, I think it's 4. There you go. There you have it. Everybody else is taking 8. Did that answer your question?
That answers the question.
You feel better now?
Well, everybody should be taking 8, but then again, I'm not in charge. But if I was,
hold on now. I'm gonna give Eddie Hendricks a pop on this because he did some great research on this from the radio station. So you say they should all take 8. Let me give you what he passed along to me as I give him some props on this. So since 2017, 1 versus 8, the 1 seeds are 142-3 with an average margin of victory of 46.9 points per game. Now, we did have an 8-1 last year, if you remember, in Region 2B, where it was Clark County, the undefeated number 1 seed, falling to 8 seed in Madison County. The 2-7, 130-18. All right. And 5 of those ones, by the way, 5 of those that lost, I should say, had losing records. And the average margin was 43-12. So it's 928 win percentage, however you slice it. So I actually think 6 is the right number. I've been saying that for years when it was 4. Give the 1 and 2s buys. That's been my perspective for years and years and years. Give the 1 and 2s buys. Go 3, 6, 4, 5. And that leaves some 7 and 8s home. And I know Eddie believes, which he's told me many times, like you, he thinks there should be a cutoff of a 500 record or better to make the playoffs. And I think that's what you still believe in, or no? Have you changed your tune?
No, I could go 500 record, which means your numbers would change probably each year depending on who's a 500 and above instead of
right.
just 6, just 8.
I hear what you guys are saying about the 500 record. I don't dispute that. I just think it's easier to go 1, 2 buys, 3, 6, 4, 5. Because it's if you do it based off that, it's going to be difficult to sort that out to an extent. I just think with different regions and I mean, if you have it universal across the board, go 6. Now there's going to be regions like 6B, it's got 19 schools. I'll go to that for just a second so you can see it. 6B. I know we're not going to go through the whole power ratings, but 6B, you look at their 7 and 8 seeds, or 6 and 3, 5 and 4, 5 and 4, 6 and 3. So there's going to be some decent football teams, but that region is just incredibly large, and I do think there should be some reshuffling of regions across the board. But that's another topic, another discussion for another time. Let's finish up here while we can to 2A, unless you want to see 1A as well. Armstrong is the 1 seed right now. They have leaped in front of Poquoson at 28.0 to 26.78. What do they have remaining? What will determine things? Well, Poquoson's got Smithfield, which is going to help them with points tremendously. Meanwhile, it's Mechanicsville on the road, who's a 3-6 team. But based on this, I don't think it's enough for Poquoson to leap back in front of Armstrong. I think Armstrong has got the grip on the 1 seed now. I really do. That win over Hanover gave them a ton of points, and Poquoson didn't get much from playing. Was it Bruton? Not much. Lunenburg's the 3 line. They should stay there. This is where it gets really, really wonky, as we like to say. Now, Windsor was in great shape, Ed, to make it. They're down there at the bottom at 10. It doesn't look like they're going to get in here unless they were to pull off a shocker and win their last game to get themselves into the playoffs. They're at the bottom in 2A. They'd have to go beat – well, they didn't. I'm sorry, they lost the last game to Southampton. So they're out, it looks like. But Nottoway is sitting at the 8 line right now, and they're done. Amelia sitting on the 9 line. They have 1 game left with Lunenburg. So if Amelia was to go knock off Lunenburg, they would catapult ahead of Nottoway. But I don't think they're going to do that. Then you have Southampton. You have Greensville. TJ of Richmond has moved up to the 4 seed, but they have to play Hermitage coming up this week, and I don't think they win that game. King William, on the other hand, is going to play Colonial Heights, who I do think will win that game. So don't be shocked if that flips the 4-5 there. And in the case of Southampton is sitting at 7-2 with Franklin coming up on the road. They can win that game. So TJ can potentially fall down to the 6 line and thus probably opening up at Lunenburg, which is a tough draw for Lunenburg. Undefeated, you see a team with 2 Division I wide receivers, one going to Old Dominion and Isaiah Harris, and the other one going to Syracuse and Amari Goff. But that's about as brutal a draw as a 10-0 3 seed. You get TJ of Richmond, who's been a state playoff team and one of the best in Class 2 for years and years. Bear doesn't like it. Bear hates that draw for Lunenburg. He's upset. He's very upset.
Yeah, he wants any team that their nickname is Bulldogs. That's all he wants.
Well, I don't think you have any Bulldogs on that. You have Wildcats, Islanders, Chargers, Vikings, Cavaliers, Indians, Eagles, Cougars, Raiders, and Dukes. No Bulldogs. Sorry.
Bulldogs. You got to stay with Kings Fork.
He'll stay with Kings Fork. Get him a Kings Fork bandana, and go take him to the kennel. The puppy pound, as some still call it.
By the way, it's his birthday today.
Is it really?
The puppy was
I wish
born
you told me that. We would have done a happy birthday for Bear. Yeah, I love it. All right, we'll come back with the National Football League, the league where they play for pay. We've got picks coming your way for week number, 9? Can you believe that? It's week number 9 in the NFL. And did I love what happened last week in the picks? Oh, I so loved it. I'm going to tell you why I love it when we come back right here on 757 Sports Talk. You're watching with us on Cova Sports TV. Like, share, and always subscribe.
What makes a life a good one? Is it our adventures? Or the friends we find along the way? Is it the challenges we conquer together? Maybe it's the people's lives we touch every single day. So, what makes a life a good one? You'll have to figure that one out for yourself.
What is more? Is it more reps, more strength, more stamina. We say it's all of that, but it's greater than just what's in the mirror. It's about improving your mental and physical health. More is a feeling of achievement, fulfillment, confidence. It's looking better, feeling better, being better, and it's our mission to get you there. Because here, you are more. One Life Fitness.
Portco is your local nonprofit organization dedicated to economic empowerment through employment for people with disabilities. We focus on abilities, not limitations, providing on-the-job vocational support. Find your pathway to employment. Contact us or learn more at portco.org.
Well, it's everybody's favorite time of year again. Time to prepare to make your annual donation to that infernal revenue service. And if you're like me, you need help. Help to keep that donation as small as possible. So get off your W-2 and call John Maynard at John's Tax Service. 455-6763.
At Rush Soccer, our love of the game and the community we create doesn't stop when we leave the pitch or when the season ends. We are more than an individual player, team, club, or league. We are a truly global community of athletes, parents, coaches, professionals, and fans. We believe that youth sports and the pathway to a lifelong love of soccer have the power to form deep, meaningful connections that will fundamentally shape our players and those in our community. We believe that what we feel is the key to what we can achieve. Feel the pride. Feel the confidence. Feel the legacy. Feel the connection. Feel the trust. Feel the acceptance. Feel the purpose. Feel the difference. Feel the rush.
At Atomic Wings, we prioritize real chicken with fresh, all-natural, never-frozen ingredients, all packed with serious flavor. Order from over 15 awesome flavors at atomicwings.com.
Hampton Roads has a long-running high school and college sports tradition. It's time to give them the spotlight they deserve. This is 757 Sports Talk.
Usually it's Hatfield. That's why I try to tell everybody, get on Hatfield. He is the legal scribe, the talking head that knows all this, puts the whammies on. We do things different on this podcast. That's why we're rated number 3 in the state.
You got Play-Doh? Get out of here! We've got people all over the globe watching with us. Sitting in a phone booth with you would be very...
well, no, we got to have your own phone booth. I'm not sitting in no phone booth with you.
It is 757 Saturday Sports Talk here on Cova Sports TV. Like, share, and subscribe.
This is 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Here are Matt Hatfield and Coach Ed Young.
It is now time to do the picks in the league where they play for pay, the National Football League. As we show it to you on Cova Sports TV and 757 Sports Talk, here's how things went last week on the picks for the NFL. Week number 8. Would you like to read how things went for the audience there, Edward?
Not really.
I'll do it since you don't want to. Perfect 3-0 for yours truly. I had Baltimore minus 1.5. They got the job done. Minus Lamar Jackson as Tyler Huntley and company prevailed at home against the Bears, who were the losers. The Texans minus 2.5. Another check mark, a W there. And Tampa Bay minus 4.5 against the New Orleans Aints. They don't get the S. They're not Saints anymore. They're Aints. Easy dub. Just like Dallas is not the Cowboys. They're the Alice Cowboys. Like Alice in Wonderland. They don't have any D. No D in Dallas. See what I did there? The Aints and Alice. 3-0 for me. I'm now above Mount 500. What happened for Bruce and Ed? Well, it was not great for Brucey. He had Carolina plus 7.5. That was a walloping by the Bills, 40-9. He lost the Niners plus 2.5. Tisk against the Texans, who I had checker on a checker. Did win a minus 4.5 Tampa Bay, which I had taken as well, like Bruce. That drops Bruce to 13-11 on the campaign. How about Coach Young? Atlanta -7. Boy, did they get walloped by the Dolphins. Smoked. You could have Bills -7.5. You went checker on a checker with Bruce, and that was good for you. But here's the one that got Ed, folks, that he's still steaming about. Over 41.5 in San Francisco and Houston. He took the same game as me and Bruce, but not the Niners or the Texans. He went another different direction. Final score was 26-15 Texans as Kyle Shanahan refused to take a field goal to make it an 8-point game. Ed would have had a winning record for the week. What do you have to say to one Kyle Shanahan? Would you like to slap him, take him out back, prosecute him to the fullest extent of the law?
I hope they lose the rest of their game.
Really?
I pray they lose the rest of their games.
You pray they lose the rest of the game. You sound like somebody that had a bad outcome financially on that.
No, it wasn't, but I was trying to go for that 3-0. I've got to get back in the race. 9-15, highly unlike me, way behind these two yo-yos.
Yo-yos?
I've got to get in there and to get a hold of Bruce Pearl. I got to get a hold of Bruce Pearl.
3-6 start for me. I am 10-5 since then, the last 5 weeks. So I have turned it around.
You have.
Almost like George Benson. Turn your love around it and dun, 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 and you show me how to. Dun, 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 dun. You want me to sing more? Okay.
Cheat if you must, which you usually do, and always cheat.
All right. So let's see Bruce's picks for this week. You ready? Here we go. He's going all AFC South. Indy laying the 3.5 at Pittsburgh. It's their first game on grass. No jokes about grass, by the way. First game on grass. I'm curious to see how that turns out for the Colts of Indianapolis. He's going Jacksonville minus the 2.5. You get the lips like that. So are you thinking about that with Jacksonville against your Raiders? 2.5 in Vegas. And Houston. Houston, we have a problem laying 1.5 at home against the Broncos. I like that game, but from a different perspective. It is 2.5 in some places, but I'm giving it to Bruce at 1.5. So those are the three selections for Mr. Pearl. And since I beat you yet again, and I have a comfy lead on you in the NFL, but I'm losing to you in high school by 2 games, I get to go with the first pick here in this draft. And no, I'm not going to take New England or Green Bay at home. I'm not going to take the Chargers on the road. For my first selection, I'm going to actually go with the guys to restore the roar, the Detroit Lions. It is a crooked number at 8.5. That has me a little bit on the scared side of things. I will admit, I will acknowledge, but I think Jared Goff and the offense will get it done. I like them laying 8.5 at home against the Vikes, who have had quarterback problems, whether it's been J.J. McCarthy, who's not been playing, or Carson Wentz. I think Minnesota's trending downward, and the Lions are going upward. So give it to me. First selection, Lions laying 8.5. You are up, sir.
I will go to the Panthers at Green Bay.
Ooh, you're going there.
It's
Lambeau
a big
Field.
Yeah, it's a big margin at 13.5. So I'm going to skip over that and go to the scoring over and unders at 43.5.
Uh-oh.
I'm going to say Green Bay in this game alone should score 30 points.
Okay.
Carolina, get 2 touchdowns, Carolina. So give me that one over.
You got faith in Rico Dowdle at running back, whether it is Bryce Young or Andy Dalton, which I didn't look to see who it is.
Green Bay's going to win it, but I'm going to go with the over and under on that one.
All right, give me over 43.5. Let's see if it ends up like last week, where it ends up being not 26-15, but let's say it's 26-17 this week. That'd be even greater. That looks by half a point, ladies and gents.
Then I'm going to be going off on some.
You're going to go berserk. You're going to go berserk.
Berserk.
All right. He might go so crazy, folks, that he'll fill out his VirginiaPreps.com preseason basketball survey to become the 97th coach to return his. Go ahead. What's your next pick?
Let me see here. I don't want to touch Bills and Chiefs. Is tempting.
Oh, it's tempting.
I think Bills do win that, even though they're 1.5.
Do you? You feel really? See, I align with you on that. I think the Bills are being discounted. I think they have some favorable matchups against KC, and I'm surprised with the dog. And I know KC's playing much better right now. They've got Rice back healthy. Looked good on Monday night against the Commies. But I think they win it too, which is strange that we agree like that.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find out somebody else. You know what? This would be an emotional pick. I want to see Shanahan's 49ers get smashed.
Do it. You can all the Niners fans that are like Mike Whittington and Lance Hinton out there might be watching the show. He's anti-49ers now.
And me picking the Giants, I can't tell you the last time I picked the Giants in anything.
Without Cam Scatterbill, you got faith in Ty Tracy to get it done for them. It's a West Coast, East Coast 1 o'clock game, so those tend to happen for the East Coast team.
Yeah, I'm going to go out on the limb branch lead. I'm going to go Giants.
There you go.
I'm going Giants.
You're doing it for Melinda McCain, aren't you? Who's a big G.
Give me the Jets, 49er, scallywags, and watch they win. They'll win 38-0. Watch.
I know. By the way, I mentioned Melinda McCain, mom of Daree McCain at Maury. I don't know if you saw it. Larry Obama did a neat little piece in the paper about first-time dads, Daree McCain at Maury with his youngster, and Tyler Noe at Cox. So a lot of sleepless nights for those two. Not just studying the film, but the little one maybe keeping them up at night for both of them.
Good story. I read it. It's a good story.
Yeah,
good stuff.
My next selection, I'm going to go to the over-under well here. Denver and Houston. Now, you've seen the last 2 weeks what Denver's done offensively right behind Bo Nix, right? They've been putting it up. And I love the fact that this number has moved from 39.5 to 40.5. You say, why, Matt?
Why, Matt?
Because, I'm glad you played your part right that time. Because I'm going under 40.5 with Denver, Houston. I think both defenses will show up and ball out. And I like this to go under the total. I know you say, oh, that's a low total, Matt, but there's a reason why it's a low total. I think these two defenses keep it close to the vest. Remember, before the Broncos outbursts against the Giants and the Cowboys, two leaky defenses, they played a low-scoring game out in London against the Jets. And the Texans have been playing some lower-scoring games too. I think the Broncos will lead the league in sacks. Will get some pressure on C.J. Stroud. And Denver's protection could have a little trouble against Houston as well. So give this game to be something like, we'll call it 21-17, 20-16, 21-14. I think we stay under the 40.5 for pick number 2. And for pick number 3, numero tres, why are the Commanders a 3-point dog at home? Jaden Daniels is coming back. And I know Seattle is great on the road, not as well as home, which is the reverse of what they were for years, where they had felt like unbeatable home field advantage during the Legion of Boom era with Richard Sherman and Earl Thomas and Maury High alum 757 great Cam Chancellor. But I think this is a must-win game for the Commanders. I know they're dinged up at wide receiver. McLaurin's been hurt. Samuel. Look, they got to have this. It's like gotta-have-it game for Washington's first season. If they lose this to lose their 4th straight, they're done. Stick a fork in them. I think the Commanders will rise up, play a big game, and get it done, and they can sing dun 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 dun. Give me them plus the 3 with the outright upset on Monday Night Football. If you and I weren't busy, we should be doing a Hatfield Young Monday Night cast, but I'm busy and you're busy, so busy bees don't get to do that. So there you have it. What's your?
Well, I'm glad your volume went out when you were singing. That was right on cue. While you were singing, it went out. I was going to tell you, then I said, no, let him keep singing because we don't hear it. So that was good.
I can do it again if you like.
No, we can't time. We're pressed for time. We got to go next. Okay, I'm up. I don't like what I have left to pick. I don't trust myself in these picks. 6 minutes ago, I was going to take the Falcons over New England.
6 minutes ago?
Yeah, but now
so what changed between 12:20 and 12:26 Eastern? What changed?
I don't know, but I'm going to go Patriots at home, -4.5 over the Falcons.
The Falcons are a hard team to figure out.
Yes.
And I'm going to tell you right here and now, because they bit you on the butt last week, they're going to bite you the other way this week. I'm going to call for it, right? I'm not going to pick it. Well, I am going to pick them. Not one of my picks, but then they go to New England and end the winning streak for Drake May and company. I think they're going to knock him.
Penix is back, correct? Quarterback.
Should be. Well, he should be. But I was surprised you didn't go with Dallas against my Cardinals. You do know the Cardinals have had a lot of success against Dallas over the years.
Yeah, that's not an easy pick. Cardinals going nowhere. They're floundering. Yeah, you know what?
And let me correct myself. I misspoke and said Monday Night Football Commanders. It's Sunday Night Football.
I always look at that primetime game as it used to be Monday Night Football as the game. No disrespect to ESPN and the Manning cast and Joe Buck and Troy Aikman, but Sunday night is the Washington-Seattle game. But I would be willing to do a cast, except I've got things to do that night, as do you. So there you have it.
I think Cowboys do beat the Cardinals, but that's a tough one to pick.
I hope you're wrong. So that's going to close out this episode of 757 Sports Talk on Cova Sports TV. For all of our guests, which included the likes of Anthony Joffrion of Kings, Brad Bradley of the Heritage-Lynchburg Pioneers, its two standouts, Ayden Slash and Zaid Holloway, plus Daryl Cherry of the Kempsville Chiefs. I'm Matt. He's Ed, and we'll catch you next time as we inch closer and closer to Turkey Day right here on 757 Sports Talk. You've been watching Cova Sports TV. So long, everyone. See you later.